Just waiting for Jim and Joe to give me some good news. It's 8 o'clock. Where are you guys? Waiting for my good news. Get your fat asses online already.
We don't normally get this kind of action.
It's for us. It's just
exciting.
us. It's the way our stream is.
Oh dear. It's because you guys are here.
It was a legitimate call. It made sense. It was pass interference. I don't care what anybody says.
Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk from two men in the know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
You call runs when you're not supposed to, and Dak Prescott is throwing it in the dirt.
Well, they say it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
Welcome back, Know-It-Alls. Welcome back for another edition of Football on the No Show. We are ready to go.
Woo.
I am pumped.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't wait to talk football and watch football tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, that's right. Absolutely. Right now we have to do a shot here because there you go. Salute,
This
everyone.
is the game.
All right. Here's the thing. Tonight is usually the biggest drinking night of the planet, besides New Year's Eve and things like that. So tonight what we're going to do is whenever we say Thanksgiving or somebody in the comments drops a happy Thanksgiving, we're going to do a shot. So we owe 2 more shots here coming up. So we're going to play a game like that. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to have fun with you guys tonight. We appreciate you checking us out here on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter as well. And, like you said, I'm excited to talk about it. It's coming up, the game's tomorrow. You know, we're going to be eating some food and watching some football. It's going to be great. We're going to be minus a game now because of the COVID
unfortunately,
restrictions and things that have happened now. Again, with the Baltimore Ravens, and seems that night everything dropped, and they're going to be without J.K. Dobbins and Mike Ingram, and then the names started compiling up. It was coaching staff and others. So now they cannot play tomorrow night, so we're going to miss out on a Thursday night game. And the Steelers, again, are upset about this because it's funny because that happened to them earlier in the season when they had to play the Titans, and it got down to it to where the Titans had violated maybe some of the protocols, and they thought that maybe they were going to get, a game, was going to get either skipped or they're going to get a forfeit. So
I mean, the Titans. I mean, they flat out they were the worst team out of everybody that with the COVID cases and whatnot. I mean, you look at I'm baffled by the fact that the NFL didn't come down super hard on them. They got their fines and everything out of the way, but I don't think they didn't lose a draft pick. And to me, they were the biggest, the biggest criminals of the following the COVID policies and what have you. So I mean, for them to do what they ended up doing, and the NFL they took it easy on them. They only really fined them, and that was it. Now you're seeing teams. It's funny because it's almost like it's a game for the NFL right now. It seems like they're playing favorites a little bit. They heavily penalize one team with fines, and then the next time a team does it, and then it's a fine and a draft pick, and then other teams that have been doing, like the Ravens, it seems like, oh, we're just going to move your game. I don't know if they're going to get fined or whatnot later on down the road, but it seems like some teams are getting postponed and moved back so that way they'll have their players, and then other teams are just like, oh no, you're going to have to play still.
So yeah, I know. So that is one thing that people are noticing. I think that's sort of a trend. Again, you spoke of the Titans who were on a mission last year, and now it seemed like they could be potentially a team to look at moving forward this particular playoffs of what they had been able to accomplish in the playoffs last season, beating the Patriots, moving forward and taking out. I mean, I think they took out the Ravens too, right? I mean, they were moved forward, and they were going to be an up and coming team that people were excited about to see. And that's the NFL. They want to see these games being played,
right.
And that's the funny thing too about a big Thursday night. It's a Thanksgiving Day game. I just said it again. I tried to avoid it again, but we're going to be drinking a few shots here, and It's inevitable. I'm gonna have to get some more liquor up and down in here. So
we're gonna run out.
But
quick.
yeah, I mean, you figured that they wouldn't give up this particular game, but they're following the protocols. They're being safe, and that's what it is. It's about safety right now and what the NFL wants to do. And right now we have Cynthia Blair is in the house with us tonight, and she wishes us a happy. I'm not going to say the word because we already owe a couple more shots to Football on the No Show from Florida. It's a pleasure having you with us tonight from Florida. Anybody else? It's a pleasure having you guys with us here tonight.
So when we say the T word, we have to drink a shot. You guys out there, if you comment the T word, we got to drink a shot.
Within one comment. I mean, if you do like 20 in one comment, that doesn't count. All right. All right, that's going to be fun. All right, here we go.
We do have to do a show.
We have to do a show, though, so that's not bringing them all up here. There you go. All right, so it's been an exciting week, like we said. And one of the teams I think boggles me here, we're going to bring up the quarterbacks in just a little bit. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers here. Yeah. They are still rated high in their power rankings and, this and this and a team to beat.
True.
When if you look at this team, of any team with any type of skill or say, one of the upper echelon teams, they haven't been able to beat them.
No.
And Tom Brady is making crucial mistakes here. He's not that Tommy Terrific anymore.
No, but here's the thing, too, is that he's not Tommy Terrific, but he's no longer being, I want to say supported, I guess, by the coaching staff like he was in New England, where they would kind of swept some stuff under the rug, like, no, Tom did a great job. He executed well. Yeah, we had a couple of mishaps, but the offense kind of sputtered a little bit. You know what I mean? They're spinning it a different way. Down in Tampa with Bruce Arians, he's no holds bar. He's calling him out. He's just flat out calling him out, saying, hey, Tom needs to throw the ball better. He needs to throw the ball accurately down the football field, and that, if he corrects those mistakes, then it's a different ending. We're winning instead of we're losing. But he's not holding anything back, and he's really firing bullets with the media and saying, no, it's Tom's fault. He's almost coming out and just saying it's all his fault, for the bad throws and everything, because he is struggling down there in Tampa. And we've seen that he can't. In Bruce Arians' offense, we talked about this a little bit before the season on how Bruce Arians' offense is more like a vertical game offense. Whatever quarterback is there, they got to be able to stretch the field. And we knew that they were going to critique and throw a few wrinkles in the offense that would fit Tom Brady better. But still, you still got to be able to stretch it. And when we seen him try to stretch the football field with the likes of Antonio Brown, with Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin, it's just not happening. The ball doesn't even get where it needs to be. It's short all the time, and it's leading the receivers almost to put the brakes flat down hard and try to come back to get the ball, and it's just out of reach.
Absolutely. And what's funny, though, is you see these other coordinators try and tailor the offense to what quarterback they have. Why wouldn't they adjust and try and make some shorter checkdowns for Tom Brady to even get a momentum going here for them? Because he has the talent. That's the thing. You see some of these quarterbacks out there where you say if they only had talent around them, what they could do. Sam Darnold, you hear that complaint there. Others, and if you only give them a few guys. Tom Brady has a plethora of guys out there.
Oh my God, it's the best receiving
core
he's ever
guys
had.
that are making plays that are out on that offense.
It's the best receiving core he's ever had. He's always had a decent backfield, but those two running backs back there, they make the engine go too. And as far as the dink and dunk plays, they're there. That's where the few wrinkles are. He is being allowed to dump it off to Chris Godwin, in the slot, or even like a little comeback route for Mike Evans, or a cross in, or a cross out, or anything. So those plays are there, and yes, they do get some momentum. But when it comes to, because Bruce Arians requires you to stretch the field, because if you become too predictable with the short throws, defenses just got to play down, play press, press zone, and get right in your face, and it makes it harder for Tom Brady. So because he's not being able to hit those deep targets, it's really affecting the offense, especially if they can't run the football. So, I mean, you're seeing now.
That's the thing, that they've been able to do that. They are probably the most balanced they've been in a few years.
100%.
And their defense is playing lights out for them right now.
The defense is the strength of the team.
Before, yeah, a few years ago under Jameis, how they didn't have the secondary. Now they have a pretty complete team, and he's the one that's missing those plays. If he connected on a couple of those deep balls this past game, that it's a different story for that.
Yeah.
And what's wild is when he let one of those go, I think that should have been an interception. He got knocked away by Mike Evans. That thing floated up like a rainbow. First of all, I was like, what is he doing with that? What is that? I mean, that looks like something that I've seen, like, an 8-year-old try and throw a deep ball for the first time and to get too much air under it.
Right.
It looks something similar to that. All right, here we go. We've got Mike Tackett in the house. He is in the house with us tonight. He says the word. He says happy blank eve, gents. Steelers-Ravens game rescheduled to Sunday, but even more interesting is the NFL made a statement today that if they need to have a Week 18 makeup week, the league will expand this year's playoffs to 16 teams.
Right.
8 for each conference. And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and he has said hashtag the blank word shots. And we still have 2 more to make up, so we're going to do that one there. Here we go. Salud. We're going to go through this quick. This is bad. Quite the show. This is a bad idea. I think I should have never came up with this idea.
It sounded good.
It did at the time. All right, here we go.
But now people know about it. And, and that could make things dangerous.
It could be very dangerous. I should have said never said comments. All right, so it could be moving that to 8 games now, and that can make it interesting because then you would think that they would have to remove the bye week from the number 1 team there, and they don't even get that. Yeah. And that's what everybody's talking about with the Steelers and the Chiefs right now in the AFC being the 2 best teams in the NFL. Who's going to get that bye week? Are the Steelers going to be able to withstand what they're doing? Are the Chiefs going to be able to hang tight still there too?
I hope
be
not.
only be within 1 game. Well, it's tight for them. They should have probably lost that game against the Raiders.
Absolutely.
Again. And they've been scratching and clawing to get some of those wins that they've had too as well. But then if you look back at the Steelers, they've done the same thing too. I mean, we're going to talk about this in a little bit here. We've got our buy or sell segment. But when the Steelers, I mean, their strength of schedule isn't that hard either because they've had to play the NFC East too.
Yeah, they've had a actually just very easy schedule. Let's be honest. They really haven't been challenged that much except for within their division. We all know the Ravens are a pretty good team. We know that the Browns, depending on the week, are good. And so we've seen those games, but we're used to seeing those games in interdivision, always close type of deal. But the Steelers seem to be coming on top so far. But I'm interested to see, like, when we get to those playoff matchups, like when it's about the winning teams versus the other winning teams, can the Steelers still pull through and get the W? So that still remains to be seen. But I really wanted to touch up real quick is the Rams-Buccaneers game. We talk about Brady not reaching receivers. We saw that in this game. We saw him almost at times kind of hold on to the football a little bit too long, which is not Brady-esque. It's not really what he does. He usually gets it out of his hands as quick as possible. But we also saw a Tom Brady that we're not used to seeing and throwing it to the opposite team with no receiver around. The safety for the Rams was sitting in a zone by himself, no receiver around, and because of the pressure, Tom Brady just heaved it up, and it looked like he was trying to throw it to him. He literally just stood there and caught the ball for an interception. So, it leads. The problem is now, does Tampa have the quarterback in Brady to be able to make a push right now to win? Yes, they got a winning record right now. I think it's 7-4 or something like that. But at the very least, like now. This begs the question right now is, like, can they get by with Brady to make a push? Like, everybody, when they sign him, they're like, oh, Super Bowl bound. We're going all the way. We're going to win a championship because we got Tom Brady. But what kind of Tom Brady did you get? You got a 43-year-old Tom Brady who is struggling right now. And is that going to be enough with your team that you put together to get past that hump, to not only get in the playoffs, but also make a push to get to that Super Bowl. I don't know.
And the thing is, I don't see him even struggling. I think it's just certain types of throws or balls, the inaccuracy and the key moments that a lot of people were used to that they're actually giving credit for. And I always thought that was like giving him credit where it wasn't even due. Like when that James White drive for the Patriots in that Atlanta game, that wasn't all Tom Brady driving them down. It was the plays that were made and players that are making the plays.
Right.
Tom Brady getting a lot of credit for all that. So now when he's in that crunch time, they said it there, he has 47 come from behind wins in the fourth quarter, and they're tied with Dan Marino, third overall behind Peyton Manning and Drew Brees.
Yep.
And they jinxed him just like that, and then he goes and throws that pick.
I know,
They
right?
can't rely on him to do things like that and make those plays, and that's a big difference.
One other thing before we move forward
Sure.
is I want to
I'm
point
trying to
out
move forward.
that the only loss the Chiefs have is none other than the Raiders. Just wanted to point that out. I know Chiefs fans out there, you hate me right now, but it's okay. It's okay because you see times are changing right now. You got to be a little nervous now every time you play the Raiders because we should have swept you guys. You
They
know
should've
it.
probably won that game.
You know it. If it wasn't for my D coordinator, we would have won that game.
Why were they playing so soft at the end of that game?
Because
I
that's
just
what my
don't get
defensive
that.
coordinator does. He plays prevent at the end of games.
Yeah.
Which
and-
what does it do? Prevents you from winning.
And what is that? Your safety? Is that Arnett? Is the safety there?
No,
number 24?
Arnett's
What's
the
his name?
corner.
The corner.
Abrams.
Abrams.
He got sucked in by
He
the
did.
glorious eyes of
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. And he pressed in when he should have just stayed in his spot.
Abrams, you got to do your homework,
Yep,
bro.
you do.
You
Yes,
got
that
to
was-
do your homework. Of
that
course,
was a big mistake.
Mahomes lured you into
Yep.
that, and you bit, and that's
Yep.
why Kelsey was wide open.
Wide open. Just
Come
like
on, man.
And so is the history. All right, so we decided to take a look at this because we noticed a trend going on in the NFL here. Where has the career quarterback gone? I get tired of listening on the radio here to different analysts, especially ESPN out there. I don't know if people listen to ESPN. We try not to. I hear
don't.
different. I listen just to hear different, opinions and get what they got, But
There's nothing. They
again,
can
the narrative
deliver.
they're trying to paint for everybody, and I don't know if you guys are out there. Light up the comments if you feel the same. But
Just
the
don't say the
short-
T word.
Yeah. The short leash that these quarterbacks are on, where they don't have a chance to develop or even become a career quarterback with what they got. Because I've looked at the stats that they have, and yes, at times maybe these guys are not making some of the throws that are going to be the fourth down, big play, win it for my team guys. So
Right.
you don't just write them off altogether. If they can't make that, fourth down conversion to get them where they need to get to, you can't just write them off. And I think that's these teams are doing too much, and the media is driving, and fans as well. And then owners have to respond to this and make rash decisions. And I understand that money's part of it.
Absolutely.
Because I think when I was listening to them talk about Baker Mayfield, he's got to do something this year. He still doesn't look that good. So now they're saying he's going to ask for now the big money contracts be up there with Lamar,
They all do.
Jackson,
Yeah,
Deshaun
they all
Watson, or
do.
whatever it's going to be. And is he going to be worth it again? So
No.
we're going to keep falling into the same narrative that we've had with Dak Prescott. And this is what we always said about Dak Prescott. I think he's a starting quarterback. He's a good
Yes.
quarterback. He's a career quarterback that we're looking for.
Yes.
Is he worth the big-time money? No, I
No.
don't think he is. But that doesn't mean he can't be your quarterback. I don't understand how this says now if he can't, just make it like win a playoff game for some reason or something like that, why he still can't be your franchise quarterback. I don't understand the disconnect because I look back at history. Joe and I, we're older than a lot of our fans and know-it-alls out there. We've seen a lot of different generations
Whoa,
of quarterbacks.
don't tell them that.
And
Don't
we've
tell them
seen
that.
the transformation. I know Mike Tackett is a bit younger than us too. I'm sure he
Yes.
is. He
Yes,
looks a
he
lot
is.
younger. And
You look good, Mike, by
yeah,
the way.
absolutely does. Yeah, and but he's even seen it. He's seen the difference with the transition. Yes, I know there's more air yards that need to be done. Yes, I'm sure there's more eyes that are on quarterbacks and the need for some of these guys. But for me, I don't think you should end these guys' careers too soon or just seem like you just write them off and then they fall to the wayside. So then, I don't know. You find these teams just keep searching for the guy when you got to realize there isn't the guy for every team. There's 32 teams.
Well, okay, so I
mean,
see
you
what you're.
know where I'm coming at? 'Cause
I
I
see
got
where I
stuff
see
to
what
bring
you're
up too about it.
saying,
Yeah.
but yes and no. I'm kind of like on the fence here with that argument because there is always a player that will fit your system. It's a matter of finding the right guy. Like, look at the Patriots are the perfect representation of this. They didn't go out and get the flashiest name in the drafts or free agency or what have you. They got guys specifically that they saw their skills matched what they wanted to do scheme-wise. And they went out and got those guys. And they looked like all-stars on their team. If they went anywhere else, they're just kind of like an average player because they don't really fit that scheme. Now, same thing goes for the draft picks, for the quarterbacks, for free agency, anything like that. So if you don't find the right guy to fit your scheme to be able to enhance his abilities, then yes, of course, he's not going to be good enough. The player is not going to be good enough for your scheme or your offense or defense or whatever. So there's a little bit more of a shorter leash for those gentlemen. Especially when you have coaching changes and even sometimes GM shifts and what have you. Anytime that happens, and this goes as far as time itself in the NFL. Mm-hmm. It's about relationships. It's about schemes. It's about players that fit the team locker room. It's about salary. It's about a lot of different variables. Now, it's hard to line them all up in a row, but some teams do a fairly good job of doing that position to position. You can find that guy that fits your scheme, but when regimes change, it makes it's a little bit murkier of water. It's a little harder to do because those players that have already been added to that roster no longer fit what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's close to similar, so they'll still stay there. But the leashes are shorter when changes are made like that. So offenses change, defenses change, mindsets change on what kind of roster they want to assemble. And because of that, you tend to see even talented guys. They might be due up for free agency, but a new regime comes into an organization and like, I don't really want that guy. He doesn't fit what we want to do here going forward. So he goes out in free agency, signs somewhere else, and he's gone. Even though he was talented, he just wasn't the right guy for the new regime that came in. Now, I know that's kind of not your argument, but it is a variable that is involved in this equation.
So then, to me, is the pool then too watered down of quarterbacks then or something like that? Because, again,
I don't think
to me, if you look at a guy that's been in this league now, say Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, he was a starter for a few years.
He was a first-round pick.
And I think the fact that he was the number one overall has probably killed his career in a sense because he was number one. Expectations didn't meet
were high,
expectations.
obviously. Yeah, of course.
But if you see him and look at his record and the way he's even played, despite seeing some interceptions and turnovers, you've seen other quarterbacks within the NFL through the years have a 10-year, 12-year career. And I don't see that nowadays. You're not having a longevity like that. And with a career, his stats are even better than a lot of these guys.
You might not see him as a starter, but he's still playing. He still has a
starters
career.
Become, these type of guys. Let me throw a couple names out here. First of all, let's look at, say, because you're seeing it, because you're looking now in Jacksonville. He's got, because of injuries, he's got Gardner Minshew's out, and then he's got the other guy.
Jake Luton.
Yep. And then now he's talking about putting Mike Glennon in, and now
He is the starter, by the way, this week.
Yeah, right. So now you've got Tua and Fitzpatrick going back and forth. You've got now that maybe Trubisky is healthy. He practiced. He's got the shoulder issue. He's going to be starting over Nick Foles, but they're going
Nick
back
Foles
and
is
forth.
hurt.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying they're back and forth with these guys. Some of it might be due to injury, but he pulled Trubisky after they were already 3-0.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then went right to Nick Foles. But then promised Nick Foles a contract pretty much in the sense that if you are the starter, and then you're going to get paid. So that's what you're going to do.
Well,
but we've seen guys that have been able to elevate. Let me bring out here a couple guys throughout the history. Neil O'Donnell. Do you remember Neil O'Donnell?
Yeah.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Mainly. Played with Tennessee.
Right.
Or not Tennessee. I think it was Houston.
At the end of his career,
yeah.
right. He
But
moved.
here we go. 13-year career. 57.8% completion percentage. 120 touchdowns. 68 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
A long career.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, if you give me something like that, they want to cut him loose. He's no good. He made it to a Super Bowl with a team that was good.
I mean,
yes, overall, the team is good, but that's all that matters.
But
one guy doesn't bring you exactly.
It's different for Neil O'Donnell because that's a different era, too, altogether.
Right. Well,
I mean, Neil O'Donnell played in an era where they ran a ton more than they passed.
some teams run more. The
And they
Baltimore
were
Ravens run
balanced.
more than they throw. So what is
Right.
Lamar Jackson's value then? I mean, it's because I've even heard Lamar, yes, he was MVP last year, but if he doesn't produce this year and potentially next year, he's kind of getting shut down a little bit. I mean, they're willing to not pay him big max money and have a problem there and maybe move on, change it up.
I don't think
mean,
they will.
Is that unfair?
I don't think they will. I honestly think that that's their guy. They
It
really
probably
do
should
believe
be,
in.
but that's why I don't get the longevity that's not there. Trent Dilfer, he is everybody's big problem. Or he's the go-to guy for saying, well, Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. You know, who's he? Well, exactly, he did. But you know what? And check this out. 13 years. He played for 13 years.
Yeah.
As a starter. Not just back up and things like that.
Not
As a
his whole
starter.
career.
Not his whole career throughout, but a lot of it. He played a lot of games. And he had a 55.5% throwing completion percentage. That's worse than what some of these guys are doing. 113 touchdowns, 129 interceptions. He still won a Super Bowl and was still a career quarterback.
To be
Stuck
fair,
with
the only
teams.
reason why he won a Super Bowl is because of the Ravens' defense.
But still was legit for a starting job. And I don't get why some of these guys aren't able to hold starting jobs or looked as this isn't the it guy, so why don't we move on from him and look to draft the next guy? Like they're saying right now, if this guy isn't the guy, we're looking to do whatever we can to move up and get Justin Fields, or maybe Trevor Lawrence this year.
So you got
how much better is that going to do you? Because you're hitting the reset button every
But
time.
here's the thing: is I touched on regime change, right? This is not the same as it used to be back in the Neil O'Donnell days, where when you hired a head coach, you hired him. He was there for at least 5 years, at the very least. They looked for a long-term arrangement. Nowadays, every position, even coaching staffs, are short-term. What have you done for me lately is a new slogan. So if you can't prove yourself as a coach, you're gone after 2 or 3 years. That's just the way it is. If I don't see any results after 2 or 3 years, you're gone. We're starting over a new regime. And when that happens, everything changes because a new offensive scheme is installed, a new defensive scheme is installed. And what happens after that is new players are brought in via draft, via free agency. And that's where you're seeing more turnover because nowadays free agency happens. Guys can't afford organizations can't afford other players because the asking price is so high. So now they have to we got to make a judgment call. Do we sign this guy for this kind of money, or do we look for draft or free agency with a lower tier guy to bring him in to replace him? So there's a lot more turnover nowadays than there was back then because that longevity is no longer there.
So do you think some of the money is the problem of what's changing this
I
point of view here?
I think that's part of it. I think salary is definitely a part of it. This is why when they allow these contracts to keep going up higher and higher and higher and creating milestones for quarterbacks, for all these big-time pass rushers and corners and all these high-profile positions are getting huge amounts of money right now because, hey, the cap is so big now, we can make these deals happen. But that, in turn, also, because of the short term of the coaching staff or the organization's direction, it all plays a part nowadays.
Yeah. I hear you there, but I'm kind of tired of the narrative is that if this guy isn't winning something, And these guys have winning records. If you look at
Right.
Baker Mayfield, you look at Mitch Trubisky, they still have winning records.
I understand
They
that.
have more touchdowns than interceptions.
I understand
by
that.
50%.
But here's the thing: is like the argument with Nick Foles and them. That's all injury related. You know,
Right, right.
I
No, I
understand
hear
the
you.
3-0 start with Mitch Trubisky,
But the fact that they had to grab Nick Foles to move on to replace Mitch Trubisky, and maybe, at some points he wasn't progressing to what they want to, maybe
Right.
because he was taken in the first round and kind of early on their terms, and the fact that I think Patrick Mahomes was there in that particular draft or something too, so everybody's going to kind of shadow him on that. I just think it's just unfair because especially, I'm going to bring it up again, Joe, we keep knocking this dead horse. First of all, we have to pay back one of our shots. I think that's why I'm really getting excited.
I thought we no,
I think
we didn't catch up yet.
More. We had to catch up with Mike's.
Damn it, Mike.
Woo. But I'm going to bring it up. It's Joe Namath. Joe Namath, this guy, has a lot of yards. He's played 140 games, I think. He had a 13-year career.
I don't know how.
His completion percentage is 50% even.
He's
50%.
Terrible.
173 touchdowns.
Yep.
220 interceptions.
Yep.
And this guy is a Hall of Famer.
How? I'm sorry, but the Hall of Fame
He
committee.
did win a championship.
Are you
but
kidding me?
you,
How is Joe Namath in the Hall of Fame? It's absolutely ridiculous. You can't have a quarterback in the Hall of Fame that has more interceptions than touchdowns. That's going backwards. And the only reason why one of the reasons why he's in the Hall of Fame is because of how famous he was, how he guaranteed a win. Come on. And then ended up winning like that. That was like his big, huge moment.
If you get into the Hall of Fame because of swag, then T.O., would have been in earlier even. You know what I
T.O.
mean?
should have been in first ballot.
Yeah,
like he's legitimately. And I will argue for T.O. right now, even at his 40+ age that he is, he could probably still come in and play big time. I've been pounding the table for this guy to get a 1-year deal. I'm not expecting him to get a multi-year deal or last forever. I really want to see him play this year for some other team. Like even the Ravens, when they were looking for a receiver, they signed Des Bryant. I'm sorry, but I'm pushing my chips in the middle of the table for T.O. T.O. can still run a 4.4 40 at his age and still looks like a 20-year-old athlete. He's a chiseled like sculpture, for God's sakes. So, I mean, I still think he could give another team an opportunity to maybe help them move even farther forward. I'm sorry. I just went on a rant
like
there
what they're
for
doing
T.O.
with AB sometimes in Tampa. I get you there. But I take a look at numbers like this, and
No,
again,
I see
it's a
that.
different era.
Yeah,
But
it's
he
totally
actually
different era.
he brought the mobile quarterback kind of to the NFL in a sense. He was something different. But the stats aren't there to prove it up. And guys like this, if they show up and do things like he was doing, they're cut. They're gone. They're not the guy. And that's the thing.
I understand
like this
that.
guy's in the Hall of Fame. These guys aren't given a shot. And the fact that I'm not even like vouching for him and stepping up that maybe they should have one. I'm just looking for an NFL that has career quarterbacks that can still be worth something to a team instead of trying to switch hands here and there, and then teams are still begging and wondering why they suck. You know what I mean? Or we just got to get rid of them.
But that's how today's NFL is. Today's NFL is, what have you done for me lately? It's really quick. Have you progressed? Have you just been stagnant? And if you are, we're trying to ascend. We're not trying to be just average. We're not trying to be, just comfortable with the narrative.
But I don't get that because, again, if you get that guy, you could still probably even save yourself some money if you can, in a sense. My guy, I'm a Giants fan. Phil Simms, he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the better Giants players, I guess. But if you look at it,
probably the best Giants quarterback.
No, Eli has passed that by all of his records, and I think he's still better. I think so. He's got even a better stat line. Eli.
Okay.
If you look at it here, Phil Simms played for 15 years, 55.4% completion percentage, 199 touchdowns, 157 interceptions. He has 2 Super Bowls victories. You could do it with a guy like this. That seems pretty standard. That's like an average quarterback. You can win with an average quarterback.
Yeah,
that's
game manager.
That's what I think the problem is. And I don't even think it's even like I'm a game manager. I can just not screw up.
That's what Dilfer was.
for him possibly again. But if you even look at his stat line, I mean, yeah, it's a little in a sense, underwhelming, but it's better than Phil Simms. And I look at Phil Simms in a different light than I look at Trent Dilfer. But I think Phil Simms was more than a game manager. I think he was an average quarterback that could still win for his team.
For sure.
You have to have a balanced team altogether is what I'm saying, I guess. You can still have a balanced team and win. You don't need to grab that star. He has to be a number 1, top 5 elite quarterback, or you're done. I just think that is nonsense. People are going crazy. Teams are going crazy trying to find that guy. And I think you're just searching for a needle in a haystack or digging for diamonds in, a dirt mine.
But that's what the draft is about. The draft is about finding the right player for
in
your
a sense,
team.
But you can build around what you have.
You can. But if you have a lower tier talent at quarterback, which is the most important position,
and you have a chance, tier.
Hold on, and you have a chance to upgrade that position, and maybe that's your only need. If that's your only need, of course you're going to upgrade that. Now, there's other teams out there like the Jets, just to throw out there. Now, you talk about short leashes. Sam Darnold. This is the perfect situation right here. If this is your argument, if Sam Darnold's been there for what, 3 years?
Just about, I think, 3 years now.
So Sam Darnold, he's the perfect example for your argument. He's been there for 3 years. Has he ascended? Has he gotten better? No. He's actually been what we thought he was. He throws a lot of interceptions, but he still can throw touchdowns. It's kind of almost like neck and neck. And is that the quarterback that you want going forward that's going to carry your team to a Super Bowl? That's the biggest thing. Even if you build around him even more. You give him better receivers. We'll just say this. They upgrade receivers. They upgrade offensive line. They get him a better running back. They do all those things. They get him a better tight end. Let's just say that. And he's still the same guy. You need that quarterback position to be more. Right. You need him to be able to carry you to the homeland. You need him to be able to win the big game. Because that's what this is all about. It's about championships.
I hear you there, too, but then you could also build on what you had. What have we been asking them to do? They finally helped out their offensive line a little bit.
Yeah,
but
what
are your
player.
weapons? Your weapons. Yeah, you still have Jamison Crowder. You have Perryman there. And you had Le'Veon Bell, but you had him just walk out the door because you're that bad. And you have Frank Gore now back there, who's just begging for a win because he doesn't want to end his career on an offer.
And I do give the Jets credit because I think Denzel Mims is going to be that next big stud for them.
Up. Absolutely.
You got to wait.
I agree with that.
Give him 2 to 3 years. I'm telling you right now because I had him rated really high. I've watched plenty of college tape on this kid. If he works hard and keeps his head down, I'm telling you right now, he could be one of the great ones.
Right. But then on the other hand, they have Joe Flacco, which is, I think, more of the model than what I'm talking about. Joe Flacco, longevity. Did enough to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Not as looked down upon as
He's
Trent
not elite.
Dilfer.
He's not elite.
But did get a max deal when he was, after he won the Super Bowl.
But yeah, I mean, he's more of that kind of. He's almost like teetering on that above average type quarterback to average type of guy. But he's more of a game manager, and he gets the job done. He's a veteran. He's experienced. Maybe this is kind of what the Jets needed all along. And we've seen him. I mean, he had a great game a couple weeks ago, I believe. He had over 300 passing yards. He had 2 touchdown passes, 1 pick, something along those stat lines, and performed really well in that start. So,
yeah, well, you know what? I'm about to make a hot take. I don't have a hot take alert button, but I should have one. I should have one. I should have one. All right.
All right.
I think if you put Joe Flacco on the Patriots and scrap Cam Newton, I think they have a winning record and they can take the division.
Yes, I agree with that. Because he's a better quarterback.
And he can run that system, I think.
He's a better quarterback. Hell, I'll go a step further.
Oh, bring it to me, Daddy.
Andy Dalton, when he was a free agent,
yeah.
If the Patriots added him, Patriots are going to make a run for the Super Bowl.
There you go.
I'm telling you right now, if they signed Andy Dalton.
Mind blown.
That
How
was
about
actually
that? There we go.
That was
That's
actually
a good
perfect
one.
right
there. You
there.
Go. That's a good one.
But I'm sorry, but I thought the New England Patriots were going to sign him. They had interest in Andy Dalton.
Yeah, we both had talked about
And
that.
if they got Andy Dalton to be their starter, I'm telling you right now, Jacoby Myers would have had a career year with Julian Edelman. Like, there was a lot to like then because you're putting a better quarterback in at that position. They could have won a lot of games. They could have been on top of the division. Easy. Along with that defense that they brought back from last season. So
congratulations. You played yourself.
They did lose a couple of gems on that defense, but I still think they could have came through, and they would have won a lot more games for sure.
So, yeah, who knows? Yeah, with the Patriots.
But I'm
it's
sorry,
something
Jim.
to- yeah,
Jim, I'm sorry.
I'm getting heated.
Because here's the thing. I know you're getting heated, but this is the thing is it's tough for guys like us because now we've been through 2 different eras of NFL. And I hate to date myself, but
Yeah, I know.
we've been through.
If I would date myself. I think I'm a pretty good catch.
Listen, yeah, absolutely. I think we're both great. And if you put us together, we're premium.
We are.
But anyway, if you go back to when we first started watching football as little kids growing up, we saw Barry Sanders play.
Yeah.
We saw the defenses play, like really, really freaking good defenses. And they had a running game. And that's really what was the recipe for success is you ran the ball down the opponent's throats, you played great defense, and every once in a while you had to throw the football. Now it's the opposite. Now it's like you throw the football a ton, you run the ball every once in a while, and if you have a good defense, that's going to put you over the top. So
Right. And if you look
A lot
at
has
that, the
changed.
stats support that. When I look back at the leading wide receivers, it's on DeAndre Hopkins right now. But these guys, he's like at 900, I think, in 94 or something, right? I could be off. But pretty much almost 1,000 yards. And we're hitting week 12 right now. So these guys,
that
potentially,
crazy?
you could have, I'd say, give it 5, but maybe more.
yeah.
Definitely over 1,000 yards, but you could have DeAndre Hopkins potentially cracking 1,500 yards this season, and multiple wide receivers doing that. That is something I think astronomical and historic right now that we're taking a look at.
But
in this season.
say because now we're in a what they call a passing league. So it's not like before where it was more run. So that would have been like unbelievable. You know what I mean? Back in the day.
What's odd though,
where
even
it
with
was
that, is
run
because their quarterback is the leading rusher of all quarterbacks too, as well.
exactly.
So it's pretty interesting.
So a
there.
lot has changed. I mean, you're
lot
starting to
has
see
changed.
now. We're actually starting to see a beginning of another era for the NFL. The mobile quarterback.
Yes,
Guys
We're-
like
they're
Kyler,
trying to see a lot of
the
that,
guys
yes.
like Kyler Murray, the guys like Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson throws more than he runs,
Right,
but
yeah.
he can.
He
has
can
that
be
ability.
mobile and he's elusive.
And then you got Lamar Jackson. So you got, and even Dak Prescott, I'll put him in that lineup too, because he's got some wheels. So you're starting to see that evolution now in the NFL of like, man, if we could have a mobile quarterback that can throw the football not only with a strong arm, but accurately and has wheels, that just makes your offense that much better. So I'll say to the teams out there that have those type of quarterbacks, they're already ahead in the game, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, again, I talked about what do you guys think out there? Light up the comments. What do you think about the career quarterbacks out there? I mean, do you guys really feel that we should be judging these quarterbacks the way we are right now? Whether if they don't meet our expectations, then we should just get rid of them,
But
or they
you
should just
see-
be a lifetime backup.
Okay.
That's why I guess I'm
But
looking
here's
at.
the- but
It's
here's the thing.
You have to put these guys as a lifetime backup if they're not meeting your expectation.
But here's the thing. Guys like Kyler Murray, he cemented a starter. He's not going nowhere.
Right.
He's cemented a starter as long as the coach
At least
stays.
so far this year, yeah.
As long as the coach stays. I'll put that disclaimer in there. You got Lamar Jackson. As long as John Harbaugh is the coach of the Ravens, he's going to be their starter. I know there's that, there's
that's
always
the thing.
There's always that decision that should they pay him the big money or not. I think Lamar's there to stay. I think he's their gem. He's their guy going forward. Now, we've talked about Lamar Jackson struggling in the passing game, and like he's not a true quarterback. He's like a running back playing quarterback. And that's truer for Lamar than it is Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray can do both.
Right.
And that's what makes him dangerous. Russell Wilson can do both. That's what makes him dangerous. Lamar Jackson's kind of teetering on the fence there of, are you really just a running back playing quarterback? or are you more than that? And I think last year he proved to me one of his biggest critics. I'll admit it. I was one of his biggest critics last year. I was like, he can't throw. He's a running back. He's playing quarterback and everything like that. But he showed me that he dramatically, not just a little bit, but dramatically in the offseason improved to be a passer more than just a running back. So if that trend keeps going forward, then he could bring himself up to a Russell Wilson, to a Kyler Murray, and be that effective. Now, the thing is if he is improving, I got to see it from the offense too, the play calling. It seems like they're still handcuffing Lamar in the run game, like with those triple option plays and, the fake option and just throw it to the tight end over the middle real quick. So those gimmick plays, I want to see less of those gimmick plays, and I want to see more of the drop back and pass.
Right, and I think he has dropped back and pass, and even when he's got enough protection, for me, and now I think he's hesitating. He's sitting there waiting for somebody to get open just to prove
That's the problem.
that he's a quarterback and can make those throws, and hesitating and stopping himself from being able to make those electrifying plays that he is capable of doing, that makes him him.
But that's the thing is he's not anticipating as a quarterback. He's not being able to anticipate. He's
waiting for the guy to be open.
He has to see the guy get open.
I agree.
And that's a problem as a quarterback. So
I
I also think that
the
offensive coordinator now is still kind of holding him back a little bit because he's still calling a ton of running plays. Listen, John Harbaugh made a statement before the season started, said, hey, you know what? We're going to pass the ball more. I'm not seeing that right now. Not right now. I mean, we're over halfway through the season, and I still see him running a lot more.
I want to do comparison now. By the way, thank everybody for joining us out there that's with us tonight. We appreciate it. We're talking about the value of quarterbacks and where they sit, and are they done here, whether it's make or break. Now, if you want to talk about him and Lamar Jackson here, we've got Josh Allen on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. Or a better comparison is Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill made his first start. I wasn't sure. I changed my pick, and I failed for it because we've seen him a lot go in on third down situations. It's a read option. 90% of the time, he runs it. He doesn't throw. So when you look at it, you think of him as, well, he's an athletic, can make plays with his legs, though, still, but very physical, and he can run with a little touch of pass. He showed that he can step up and make those plays and anticipate the throws and get it and position it to the open receiver. And what you said here, a difference between him and Lamar Jackson. And we look down upon Taysom Hill, I think, a lot of times because you only see him in little spits and
gimmick plays.
And think of him as just a utilizing tool that they use for the specific game plan. And meanwhile, Lamar Jackson is the league MVP.
Yeah.
So I think there's discussions to be made there and how we evaluate some of these guys. But altogether, these guys still deserve to have careers and be quarterbacks. And it shows you that a guy like Taysom Hill, even though we saw little spurts of him, he can be a quarterback so far. Again, the thing is you look at, though, is, Atlanta didn't have a lot of game tape on him either. So they probably even thought that we'll try and contain him or keep him from running. And then when he rolled out, he would unleash the ball and make the play. We have one more shot to make up from Mike Tackett here,
really?
Joe. We do. This is it. We're doing shots for the holiday. If we say the word, what's happening tomorrow, we have to do a shot. Or if you guys put it in the comments,
T-word.
so just to let you guys know that.
And just so you know, you can't just keep repeating the T word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we kicked this bottle.
Next,
we have other stuff over there. All right. So let's move on then, I guess. So we talked about quarterbacks, and now
have I told you how much I love Jameson?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I really
Not today,
do.
But it is good. It is nice and smooth. I love it. We kicked
Jameson's great.
All right. So next up, we've got a little thing that we like to do. We've been doing it for a few years. It's called Buy or Sell. And what we're going to do is we're going to go look at some of the teams, sometimes we do a little more, but today we're gonna do some of the teams that have been on winning streaks, and just kind of tell you what we think, if we're buying in what they're doing, or if like we're gonna be selling pretty quick, like they might be a facade here. All right, so first of all, let's take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, they have won 10 in a row, but if you look at their strength of schedule, like we brought up earlier, it was convenient for them to play the Giants early with Ben Roethlisberger coming off an injury, or the Giants still trying to figure out who they are. Daniel Jones trying to figure out
Pick me.
Are you looking for a high five? Oh, what?
Pick me.
All right, yeah, you.
All right, so I wanted to look at his Taysom Hill's stats.
Let's roll some music for
okay.
this too.
Actually, he went 18 of 23 in passing for 200 and what was it?
Well,
hold on.
In the Giants game?
233 game.
Ben Roethlisberger?
233 yards. No, this past week when he was the quarterback.
Who? Oh, Taysom Hill? Oh, Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his stat line, he had 0 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but he went 18 to 23 for 233 yards. And when they utilized Alvin Kamara in the running game, and Taysom Hill for that matter, he did score on a rushing touchdown, but that's to be expected because you know how kind of dynamic he is, and that he is a more mobile quarterback than a guy like Drew Brees. He adds a different element to this offense, and Sean Payton, the head coach, realizes that, and he utilized that in this past week's game, to the fullest.
Right, and the thing is, I show up too. I bring you guys a lot of stats a lot of times just to kind of make my point, I guess, when I need to and stuff. But that's what a lot of people do, analysts and stuff. But you also got to look at these games and how they're played. Like you look at that stat line. Doesn't look particularly great altogether, but it's nice and clean, and he won the game and controlled it altogether.
But that's the thing. This is what I'm saying.
And more than a game manager.
Is 18 of 23. Pretty darn good in terms of passing yards. But because of that added element of his mobility, that's where teams kind of get a little bit put back on their heels.
Were on bootlegs to the left or to the right and things like that.
A little bit. I mean, but that's the thing that throws them off.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, could he be the future Saints starter? I think that's a little too early to project. But he's off to a good start nonetheless.
Yeah, now people at least have 1 week's of game film on him. You know what I mean? So that's what you got to look at, too. All right, so the Steelers here, they are on our buy or sell list here. Again, I said they got a pretty easy schedule in a sense and struggled. They struggled to beat the New York Giants. They struggled to beat the really beaten up and battered Cowboys. They struggled to beat a lot of teams to where it came down to a field goal kick to end the game for them. So, yes, that one – they can show that they've met the face of adversity and being able to prevail and win, which is good, which hardens a team. But altogether, with their undefeated ranking, a lot of people are now starting to look at the value of their wins and who they really faced, as contenders. You look at the Buccaneers, and I think that's why a lot of teams or analysts rate the Buccaneers very high, is that they still played a lot of teams that are tough. They played the Saints twice. They lost to those two, but they have won a few others. But then again, for them, that team, they struggled against the Panthers. Things like that. A team where I think they should have been able to, especially the caliber team, they should have been able to handle those guys. It took the second half for them to wake up and finally double up the numbers, which they did. But, teams like that. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, Joe, are you buying or are you selling on these guys? You don't need to give me an answer right now, but look at it. Take a look at it.
Because here's the thing, is as you look at the rest of their schedule, what teams right now are seen as maybe a playoff caliber team or a strong competitive team? I'm looking at their schedule right now, and they got the Bills coming up December 13th at the Bills. That should be an indicator of how good this Steeler team is. Also, with outside the division is the Colts. That's another team that is still pushing for a playoff spot, and that's December 27th that they have their game. It's in Pittsburgh. But those two teams, to me, are going to indicate how good the Steelers are, especially the Bills. I feel like the Bills are the more complete team out of the Colts and the Bills. And if anything was to change my mind, that would be the game. So looking at that game, depending on the winner and the loser in that game alone, it seems like they have a lot of divisional games still to come up. This week they got the Ravens. December 21st they have the Bengals. January 2nd or 3rd, January 3rd they have the Browns again. So with those interdivision games that they have, like I fully expect them to handle the Bengals, to handle the Browns. The Ravens will be a task, because it is a task no matter what year they play them. But Bills alone to me will indicate to me if they're playoff ready or not. So to me, they're undefeated right now. I mean, it's hard to go against them. I'm going to say I'm buying in on them.
All right, there you go. So, I mean, again, if you take a look at them, what I think they do have is, we've talked about the longevity, the
health-wise, of course.
Right. Well, you got Ben Roethlisberger. He's won the Super Bowl a few times. He's been there a few years where he's almost contemplating retirement. I mean, they keep drafting wide receivers that keep developing and becoming stars almost instantly. Look at Claypool right there. Joined the team this year, a couple of weeks, and then boom, now he's right in there. He's pretty much the number one target right now. You know what I'm saying?
Just saying, if you watched our draft special, you would have already known this guy Claypool if you haven't heard of him before.
He's real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
I appreciate that.
That's nice. But yeah, I mean, and the defense, the strength of the defense and what they're doing too. They've been able to help out this team.
And without Devin Bush available to them. So
I've looked up the strength of schedule here. I think this list is totally full of garbage. They're trying to tell me that the Giants had the easiest schedule and the Patriots had the hardest schedule, which I think is just absolutely just ridiculous altogether, because they never have the easiest.
Horse shit!
Yeah,
I agree, Adam.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, because
I mean, come on. The Patriots had a soft schedule so far.
Yeah.
Like, there's a few games that they had where they played some competitive teams, but come on, man.
And they only listed 26 teams. What the frig? Like, what website is it? This is garbage. I'm not even watching that anymore. All right. Anyways, but yeah, see, that's what they did. It remained. They took off the other ones. Yeah.
There's probably something.
There's 32 teams. We're going to list only 26.
Yeah, exactly.
List. All right. Anyways, but I think I'm going to agree with you right now. I'm buying again just because of what they have. It's hard not to. Yeah, and Mike Tomlin's still there. Everything.
It's definitely an achievement. Even if they had a weak schedule, it's still an achievement to still be undefeated at this point. So. I have to give it up to them. I really do like their defense. Minkah Fitzpatrick has been killing it in the secondary. Their defense just brings it every week. TJ Watt, I'm sorry. I can't say enough about this guy. TJ Watt is the new elite pass rusher. He's a guy that just kind of he takes over games at times. So you need to be aware of where he is. And offensively, hey, I was concerned about Big Ben coming into the season. I didn't know how he was going to respond, post-injury. And he silenced all the critics. I'll just say that. And with Claypool opposite Juju, wow. I mean, they're going to be tough to handle.
Yeah, I agree with there, too. Now, one of the other teams that are up there with the win streak is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is a team I think that's kind of intriguing in its own, too, because, again, our beloved analysts out there, want to just hand them even the best team out there, despite even the Pittsburgh Steelers having a better record. But the Chiefs are the team to beat, where a lot of teams just about almost beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The defense, that front line of the defense has played pretty well, and the secondary, I would say, as of only Honey Badger. Has played well, but he even will make mistakes at times too that costs his team. We're getting a little too physical at times and making mistakes like that. But this team just has a strong enough offense to get themselves back into the game and be able to prevail. If they did not have that, they're already struggling. So as far as a team that's like a really powerful team or like a a team that was going to be, the guaranteed number one or, when to do it. We already kind of knew that in a sense just because of the team that they have. We said before this season started, the teams that kept a lot of the same players, the closer nucleus was going to do better this season because of the lack of practice, because of the lack of camps that we had, the preseason. They were going to play better. And that's what we're seeing here. The Steelers, the Chiefs, things like that.
Yeah.
But we're seeing teams up and coming, too, like the Raiders, making sense and coming through and playing hard. And as
you
far
just
as the
need
Chiefs,
a different defensive coordinator.
whether we're buying or selling,
yeah.
I think for me, I got to buy right now, but they are beatable easily
100%.
every week, and they are not the guaranteed.
And you talk about being beatable. How about this? How about in, week 2, I believe? Week 2. Week 2 of the season, all right? They played the Chargers. Now, who was the quarterback at the time? Tyrod Taylor. Yep. The Chargers only lost by 3. They now have the rookie Justin Herbert, who's been lighting up the league and doing it very well. So I think with Justin Herbert at the helm, Chargers have a real legitimate chance of beating the Chiefs going forward. You look at the next time they play the Chiefs, it's January 3rd, I guess. Chiefs against the Chargers against the Chiefs. And I think in that game, it's going to be another close one. But I feel like because Herbert is the quarterback, I'm going to lean towards the Chargers winning that game. Other teams that they're going to be facing in the near future is the Saints. They're going to be facing the Dolphins that are playing really well now this late in the season. They're starting to make a push for that division, believe it or not. They are definitely being competitive with whoever they face, and that's going to be a team to watch going forward. The Broncos, they're kind of still that team that is still in rebuild mode. They do have talent, and they might be able to steal a win here and there, but I think against the Chiefs that it's not going to come close. The Buccaneers they face this week, that's going to be another test, I feel, for the Chiefs because they are going to face a pretty darn good defense in the Buccaneers. And if Tom Brady and their offense can put it together and not make mistakes and underthrows and get the timing down, get the running game going against the Chiefs, I think that they could steal a win there away from the Chiefs. The Falcons, they play the Falcons, a high-powered offense, but not really.
Right now, they're struggling.
Not really known for their running game, but it seems like Todd Gurley has a reemergence in his career with Atlanta and is doing fairly well with them. Julio Jones probably most likely will be healthy by then.
Who knows? He's banged
He's
up this
up and
week.
down,
He's
right?
probably not going to play this week, and Todd Gurley's not going to be there this week too.
Exactly.
So hopefully they'll be healthy by then.
So all in all, when you look at it, I feel like they have a tougher stretch to go than the Steelers, obviously. So with that being said, I think the Buccaneers are a team to watch. The Saints are a team to watch. The Chargers are a team to watch. They could very well end up with 3 or 4 losses towards down the stretch now in the regular season. The Chiefs, it's hard to bet against the Super Bowl champs, right? I mean, they've done it before. They're still kind of the same team, and God, this is tough to say, but I think I'm going to buy it.
You're going to buy it? All
I'm
right,
gonna
there
buy
you
the
go.
Chiefs.
He's buying the Chiefs. So, again, it's probably no big surprise with a lot of people, too. Like, oh, no, duh. You're going to take the Chiefs. Obviously, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got this and this. They'll get the
But they're
firepower
vulnerable.
that they do have.
They are
but
vulnerable.
They are, despite all of that.
And you know something? The one team that's shown the NFL league that they are vulnerable is, it might be laughing stock to some of you people out there, but the Raiders. If the Raiders can beat them with a really good offense, but an average defense right now, they are definitely beatable. So any team that has any kind of a good defense, like I'm sorry, but Miami Dolphins, I feel like have a better defense, a better well-run defense than the Raiders right now.
Nothing is impossible.
They're a team that could upset them. You know, the Saints have a pretty good defense. They're another team that could beat them, even if Taysom Hill is still the quarterback, I feel. So there could be some upsets. I mean, Buccaneers, they got a great defense. I don't know. If Brady can put it together, maybe they get a win too.
Reality is often disappointing.
Yeah. We'll see what Tom Brady can muster up for that game. Yeah, who knows?
I know, right? We'll see what kind
It's
of
tough.
time
I think
we
the
have.
shots are starting to take effect now because I was just thinking again, if Tom Brady can't get it up for Patrick Mahomes, I don't know what it is going to do it for him. So, and I just thought that just sounded amusing in my head. But
It could be.
But anyways,
Jezebel?
all right, here we go. So what do you have for the last team here, Joe? For our buy or sell here, we have who's else is on the Saints? I think it's the New Orleans Saints. Here.
Yes, they're the other team.
All right,
that has a winning
so
streak
again,
going
this
on.
is a tough one, I think, in a sense, because moving forward, we know that Drew Brees is on the IR currently right now with
yep.
now 11 fractures or so, I think, in his
It's
ribs.
crazy.
And
Like, here's
the collapsed lung.
Here's
So-
the craziest thing. Is like for Drew Brees, like listen, they originally thought like it's a couple fractures, he should be healed up and ready to go.
Yes, you can.
We might be able to doctor him up, and maybe after 3 weeks he'll come back and start. Now we're getting reports of like crazy substantial injuries now to Drew Brees, where I hate to think about this, but it almost sounds like Drew Brees is going to be out for some extended time. We mentioned last week, I believe, like 4 to 6 weeks. The Saints are hoping it's only a maximum of 3. But, man, oh, man, now that we're getting more info about Drew Brees' injuries, it seems more and more likely that he's going to be out for some time. And could it mean the rest of the regular season? Possibly. Maybe he'll be healthy for playoffs if they keep making that stretch. They have a winning streak right now. They seem to be hitting on all cylinders. And with Taysom Hill, listen, Sean Payton is one of the best coaches in the NFL. So it's almost like it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If he's got a full week with him, he can make something work. He can be creative. And with Taysom Hill, that opens up a lot of doors. As long as Taysom Hill can throw the ball. Like, okay, you got the first week. But now defenses have at least 1 week's worth of game film on you to see what your tendencies are, to see who do you like to throw to. Maybe we can take that guy away and make you struggle. So let's see this week if Taysom Hill. I'm fully expecting Hill to be the starter, obviously, and let's see this week if another. Who are they facing anyway?
They're facing the Broncos coming up next.
Vic Fangio is a mastermind on defense. Maybe he can come up with a scheme or, some kind of game plan against Taysom Hill to maybe get him flustered. Let's see what they can do against him. And if we see yet another week go by and Taysom Hill does pretty darn well, then we might have to start thinking about maybe he can handle it. But again, it will only be 2 weeks. So
and it'll be tough even too because the first 3 weeks they're playing the Broncos, which aren't exactly playing the best. But they pull out a win against Miami, which kind of surprised us in a sense because the way Miami has been playing.
Right.
But then they got the Falcons again, who are just struggling this year altogether. The defense is not up to par, and the Eagles, who are just finding fingers to point at people for the problems
the Eagles
that they're having.
find ways to lose games.
Yes.
Carson Wentz will help the Eagles lose, not win. And I know I've been a big proponent of Carson
This
Wentz.
year's Jameis Winston. He's 14-14, so at this pace he can do the 30 for 30. So there you go.
So in recent past I have been a proponent of Carson Wentz, standing up for him, saying he is a good quarterback as long as he stays healthy. Blah blah blah. I'm being proven wrong by Carson Wentz himself. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I cannot believe the downturn that this guy has taken from being a successful quarterback, getting injured, coming back, getting injured again, coming back, and showing some light, some success, but then now he's imploding. He's absolutely tearing down the Eagles' offense. He's not – I don't know what it is with him, but he's just not playing well. And – for the Eagles, it just seems like it's doomsday, like is right around the corner. It's almost like you talk about the short leash, right? Well, it seems like Wentz might get the short leash soon because he's just not executing for sure.
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
There you go.
Best line ever.
That's what you can say to him. I don't know.
But then you got the
Saints.
Okay, so you
again,
have the Saints. You got them playing the Chiefs.
They've got a beatable schedule here. I mean, with Taysom Hill, I think it favors him the first half. But then he's got the Chiefs moving forward. And then the Vikings, who, again, I thought last week they were onto something. And then
what the hell happened to the Vikings?
Again. It just Kirk Cousins becomes Kirk Cousins again. But
here's the thing: you can't blame it on just Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I know, because you see the meme of the lineman who, like, he got beat, but he absolutely shoved the defender into.
Yes.
It's like, did they have something against Kirk Cousins? Did he say something about them, or did he not do something for them? Like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Because he just gave him right to him. It's like, here, go
bring me lasagna in the locker room.
I don't know what it was. You know, it's just like, here you go, take him. You know. So it was weird, but yeah, I mean, so it's beatable. Again, I think for this team, because it is the Saints, I'm buying what they're doing, because I even picked them for the division still over Tampa Bay. I think they're a better team altogether, and they're showing it this season. And even despite what happens here, this team has shown that when they lose Drew Brees last season and now this season, they can still get wins. They did it with Teddy Bridgewater. We thought maybe they would do it with Jameis Winston, but they just checked out on that and they went to Taysom Hill.
Right.
And now they're moving forward. So where do we even see Sean Payton on this whole thing? Because do we take him for his word? Because he had said, I'm behind Taysom Hill altogether, but then would never give us our starter who we were going to see, and then last minute throws out Taysom Hill, and then he delivers. So
and
it's
that's
pretty
the thing
interesting.
But that's the thing. That's almost like a strategic move. Because it sounds to me like he wanted everyone to believe Winston was definitely going to be the starter, so they game plan against Winston, and not even think about Taysom Hill, and that could have been all along the game plan. So now, guess what? Surprise! It's Taysom Hill's the starter, not Winston. You know, and that might have thrown a curveball to teams, but now it's not a surprise. Now they know going forward it's going to be Hill. They can game plan for him. They only got a week's worth of material to go off of, so let's see how that plays out. But Sean Payton I'll give him this. He's super creative in his offense. It almost seems like no matter what kind of player or quarterback or whatever he has, he'll think of some way to use them at their fullest. So I believe in Hill going forward because of Sean Payton as a coach, and I'm buying in on the Saints.
All right.
Good defense, too, not to mention.
There you go. And now, so yeah, I mean, I'm going to buy in on them, too, as well. So there we go with our buy or sell. So there you go. So it is
a lot of buying.
Yeah, it's a lot of buying. I know maybe it wasn't as good and diverse that we normally do, but hell, we were throwing it out there. We will work on it. And there's a lot of season left over. We said there's a lot of stuff going on.
Maybe I should have just
COVID changes everything. Like, we had 3 games coming up tomorrow for Thanksgiving, and now we have...
You said Thanksgiving, by the way.
Well, there we go. We have to drink. There you go. Cheers. Here we go. And now we only have 2, and now it moves it to Sunday at 1:15. Oh, shit. Look what I just did to myself. Why did I do that
away
to
from the
myself?
electronics.
God damn it. I got it on my leg at least. But, yeah, so, I mean, we had 3 games. Now we have 2. A lot of people even complaining that maybe they should have just, not canceled the game because of what team it was. They're playing favorites. It's an interesting season, something like we've never seen before. I read earlier this week that Pennsylvania had reversed the rule of what the NFL is trying to implement for having players wear masks on the sidelines. I don't know if you read that at all.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Pennsylvania is saying that under Pennsylvania law, they are not restricted to do that because teams like we've kind of argued, they're playing against each other on the field.
Yeah.
They're in close contact with each other.
Yeah.
That means purposely right there, that just shows that on the sideline, they are not lawfully abided to wear masks with each other because they are already in close proximity of each other.
Right.
They do not need to require masks.
Here's the thing, too, and this is something that the NFL needs to take a look at.
College teams have already said, that play in Pennsylvania is like, yeah, we're following that rule. We're done.
This is what the NFL needs to look at. And this is something that I feel very strongly about is because they keep making all these different policies and these rules and everything, and just so they're allowed to find teams, to find players, to find coaches on. And even at times, I think the only team right now is the Raiders with the 6th-round draft pick they had to forfeit. they're penalizing all these teams. But listen, you said before the season that, hey, we don't want anybody to swap jerseys. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, but I get it because sweat, transferring, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But these players, these coaches, they're still shaking hands. They're still high-fiving. They're still hugging at the end of games.
A lot of them.
If they haven't seen a friend of theirs or something on another team. Like, there's a lot of exchanging of contact still. But, it's a big deal. The coaches got to wear face masks. The coaches are with their players 24/7. They're with them at practice. They're not. Why are coaches versus players expected to wear face masks or not when they're always with each other? They're always getting tested throughout the week. Even before game day, they're getting a test. NFL, come on. I mean, this is getting a little too ridiculous, and I don't know if you're using it as a ploy to get more money into the league fund or whatnot, but this is going a little too far. And I just think that they need to loosen up. I think that
I wanted to make sure, unlike most politicians, that what I said was fucking stupid.
Exactly, Donald.
There you go. So.
But this is the thing. It's getting a little too radical, a little too ridiculous going forward. They need to loosen up on their policies. Let the coaches take the face masks off when they're on the sidelines. You know what I mean? Like, what's it gonna hurt?
I don't know.
Like, they all get tested. They're all negative, obviously, because they're standing there. They're there. It's getting too damn ridiculous. I can't stand it.
And I understand, like, when you're saying they're playing favorites, like,
so, like, personal experience, right?
Sure.
So I run a flag football team.
Yeah.
I run a flag football team.
Yeah. Yes.
And the policies right now for our league,
okay,
is that if you're a pedestrian or you just want to watch the games, you have to sit outside the field. You have to wear a face mask and what have you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Players have to wear a face mask and be outside the field until their game. They're allowed to come in before their game starts. Then we can take them off. We're all playing against each other without face masks. So far, no one's, to my knowledge, has been, has received COVID.
Yeah, right.
Or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And get this, the outside of the field is covered by a net. It's a net, right?
Yeah.
But they're still requiring people watching the game outside the net to wear face masks when players aren't.
Well, that doesn't make sense because they're not even within 6 feet of each other.
But here's the thing, is the net, like, is that like some kind of magical barrier where as long as you sit outside that, it's going to stop everything from spreading?
Wow.
And now in the Super Bowl, they're saying the same thing. They're saying players aren't allowed to step on the football field until their game. You got to wear face masks. But we've played each other all season long without face masks. Nothing's happened.
Right.
I don't see anybody missing.
But even, again, the magical net afterwards, and then you have to wear a face mask after the magical net. You should probably not have to wear a face mask out there.
Exactly.
And then everybody who's on the field wear a face mask.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
You would think.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm just dumb. I guess I don't know.
But I mean, it's outdoors. Like I just don't understand. Like so, that's what's going on with that.
Is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Is it really?
It is. So there you go.
It really.
I don't know.
Listen, you heard that, CDFFL.
There you go.
You heard that.
You're on lookout, Frank. All right, there we go.
You got called out, Frank.
Like that. There you go.
You got called out.
Because I don't care. I'm not in that league anymore. Here you go.
You might be soon.
Nice. There we go. Here we go. So now it's time for In the Know Fact of the Day.
Let's
That's
go.
right. Here we go. Check this out. It's about
what do we got?
It's about Thanksgiving. I'm going to say it again.
Oh,
here we
you
go.
said
Matthew
it again.
Stafford has the most career passing yards on Thanksgiving.
Oh, you said it
That's
again.
right. I said it twice. Oh, no. Stafford surpassed Tony Romo's career mark in 2017 versus Minnesota, and that's our In the Know Fact of the Day. That's right, and he's just surpassing it because he's going to play again this week.
I'll tell you right now, Tony Romo is the most amazing football genius. You know, if you have to really appreciate. Listen, Tony Romo. I'll argue with anybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So hold on.
Yeah, sure. No, I get it.
So Tony Romo had a great career. I think he was an amazing quarterback.
I think whenever we say Tony Romo, we just have to have this to go.
Do it. Hold on. I'm going to say it again.
Right, here we go.
So Tony Romo. That's right. Not only a great quarterback, but also Tony Romo is a great announcer. A guy that can actually tell you, like Nostradamus, what the play is going to be and where the ball's going. And when, is it a run? Is it a pass? Is it a screen? Whatever. He's just absolutely amazing at calling games and playing in them. So that's what I got to say about Tony Romo.
Well, the thing is, I broke it down for somebody here, and this is what I think what happens with Tony Romo. A lot of times for these channels, you know, CBS, Fox, all them, they get these players that have long since retired.
Yes.
And trying to pursue another career in broadcasting.
Yeah.
Just to keep it going, get some income. They have knowledge of the game. Tony Romo kind of shortened the career in a sense because of the injuries, kind of booted out because of everything, but had such a love for the game, knows how to prepare for the game.
Oh, yeah.
He prepares for his job the way he did when he played. So because what these people do, and I don't know if anybody, a lot of people know that because you guys are know-it-alls out there. My man Mike Tackett, everybody out there, you know this. When they go into a week, they know what games they're going to be broadcasting. They go in, they talk to the team, they talk to coaches, they check out plays that they run and what works for them and what they're going to do. They talk about it. He prepares better than any other analyst out there or broadcaster, color guy
100%.
in the game. And that's what it is. He prepares and sees what they do and knows about it. So then when he sees it plays out, he can't help himself because he's so giddy about it because that's what he did when he was a quarterback. I'm calling out this play because I know what they're doing because I've watched the film. He studies. He studies it to a T just because he wants to be the best at that particular job. He wants to be the best at what he does every time he plays.
Yeah, he definitely gives it his all.
That's what you got to respect about Tony Romo. I am not a Dallas Cowboy fan, or else if I was, I probably would hate Tony Romo because that's the way Dallas Cowboy fans are.
I'm a Tony Romo fan.
I am a fan. And I'm a Giants fan, and I would, stick up for this guy, and it hurt me because he had beaten us plenty of times.
Right.
And we've seen what he has been able to do.
And you know something?
And Dallas Cowboy fans did never respect what he did do for them, even though they couldn't get him further on in the playoffs.
I would.
But this guy plays ultimately, the best, tries to be the best at what he does, and I think should be considered at one point a coaching job in this NFL potentially.
And that's where I was going with that.
There you go. Take it right out of my hands.
Just so you guys
hand
know,
it off.
I will say this. I would employ the Raiders, actually. Believe this or not, to have Tony Romo as your D coordinator. Because this guy can pick plays.
Well,
he knows exactly the play that's lined up. Okay. If he studies film on, say, the Chiefs, okay? I guarantee you that the following week they play the Chiefs, he's going to, any formation they come out with, he's going to be like, oh, this is going to be a swing pass to Tyreek Hill. And that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, to me, he would be the ultimate D coordinator. He would put in the work. He would do his due diligence and then come up with a great game plan that week. Like, I really do believe that. And some people are like, oh, well, he's a quarterback, so he should be an offensive coordinator. No, this dude can pick out, literally, he can tell you what the play is going to be before it happens based on the formation. Correct. And he's always right. So why not have a guy like that as your D coordinator? So, I mean, same thing goes for, Peyton Manning to me is a little bit different. Peyton Manning would be like more of a offensive genius. He based on the
he's
base,
be on the
he can
opposite.
he's the opposite.
I agree with you there.
Imagine you put those two together. Tony Romo as D coordinator and Peyton Manning as offensive coordinator. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm saying it could.
Things have happened.
It might just work.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, you know, like I said,
Maybe
crazier
they
things
could
have
bring the
happened.
Jets back to prominence.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Go crazy. Go stupid. Go crazy. Go stupid. Go crazy. Yeah. Go.
There you go.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what they should have coaching the Jets right now.
Yeah.
Somebody like that. He's very energetic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And then follows him up with a great, you know, just hurrah of this. You know.
Badgers are just crazy.
Just crazy. Just get crazy. All right, let's get crazy in it. Okay, so there you go. Well, we just did our fact of the day. All right, we're having a lot of fun.
Where are we going?
Appreciate everybody watching us here on YouTube
Hey,
and on Facebook.
I just
want to
say,
still out there.
all you know-it-alls out there, thanks for supporting us. You guys are freaking awesome. Mike Tackett, Albert Alvarez, just to name a few. There's a lot of guys
Albert in the house. Yeah, man. Love that
my
dude.
mind went blank right now. I can't
Greg
remember.
Schreiner.
My man.
Greg Schreiner.
He's been
the
a good
Buffalo
supporter,
Bill
especially
fan.
this week.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
he's a Buffalo
absolutely.
Bill fan. Hey, he's
Love
got to
for
be
Greg
happy
Schreiner
with the
out there.
season,
Absolutely.
right?
And, yeah, I mean, again, the way Josh Allen has been playing, too.
I just want to say, all you know-it-alls out there, thank you very much for your support. Really do freaking appreciate it. If you could please, I got a little homework assignment. If you could please, reach out to any of your friends that like football or love football or what have you that would be interested in our show. Make sure they go over to YouTube and subscribe to us, as well as Facebook. Search up Football on the No Show. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Become a know-it-all on Facebook. All in all, great. Hit the notification bell on YouTube to get all the latest and greatest updated content, as well as you can follow us on Twitter. That's right. We're also on Twitter at FB_no. Make sure you hit us up on the tweets.
That's right.
Just do it.
Yes.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah, we appreciate it. Definitely. All right, so we're going to have a little fun here. We're going to go off topic a little bit with football. So I decided it'd be fun because I read all the power rankings, and we've done this
hate
before.
power
rankings. I
rankings.
know, we all do. We hate it. We hate it because, again,
They don't make any
Well,
sense.
they do it on purpose so we can argue about it. But, like, girl, what are you talking about? You're an idiot and stuff. So
It's the reason why I don't watch ESPN or NFL Network anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know. Exactly. And the reason that we don't watch ESPN anymore is because officially – yeah.
Exactly.
Today was the last day of Trey Wingo. They let him
Oh.
go officially.
Really?
He's gone. Trey Wingo is officially gone from ESPN as of
I'll
today.
tell you right now, I'm going to call it.
NFL? Fox
News or Fox Sports
Fox
is going to hire him. Guaranteed. It seems like any cast off, if they're not doing their own show, they get hired at Fox.
Yeah, and that's like the main outlier that shows you that they are struggling it right now. You know, the ESPN, the number one leader in sports, whatever. Now they're struggling right now. Fox is starting to take over, and the NFL handles their business because they are the entity that is.
By the
NFL.
way, we still have another drink to do.
We know another drink to do. I've been drinking a little bit here and there as we go, but here we go.
Let's go.
It's Mike Tackett. All right. Shout out to his kid there too. He just had not too long.
Yes,
Yeah, how
yes.
about
Congratulations,
that?
bro.
Yep,
That's
definitely.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
It is. It is.
A new know-it-all has been brought to the world,
That's
everybody.
right. Jackson. Little baby Jackson. I like it. Action Jackson. All right. All right, cool. Here we go. So, yeah, what we decided to do here for Thanksgiving is I decided to come up with my own power rankings, and that is the Thanksgiving sides power rankings. That's right. One of the most debatable things of Thanksgiving times. I took turkey out of it because even some people say, what's the best part about Thanksgiving? Oh, it's the turkey. No, it's this. Or it's not.
I like.
I don't want to
turkey,
hear
though.
anymore. Turkey has got to be the centerpiece, whatever.
It is.
If you get to Christmas, you can do turkey or ham or whatever you want to do.
You can do a lot of
That's
things.
fine.
You know, if you're
Maybe I'll do one
if you're
for
from an Italian family, you know what I mean. You got the lasagna, you got all kinds of. You got prosciutto, you got capicola, you got a lot of different things there. You can do a lot of different things.
You know what I realized in doing these power rankings?
What's that?
People are now, it's trending that people are really looking for buffalo chicken dip recipes for Thanksgiving.
Buffalo chicken dip, huh?
Did that just blow your mind or what, man? I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna have to drink a little bit more because I'm a little confused.
Yeah. Yeah, buffalo chicken dip is on the searches here for recipes for Thanksgiving. People are trying to implement that.
Really?
People really love buffalo chicken dip.
Don't get me wrong.
I've seen it
I
trending
love
upwards.
some buffalo chicken dip, but usually for a Super Bowl or something like that. I never really correlate it with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Why are you trying to mix the regular things that you could get all the time or like party foods with like Thanksgiving? That's almost like, you know, when Trump even bought everybody McDonald's for celebrating going to the White House. Like, here, instead of having a dinner, we're gonna have McDonald's.
I don't want freaking McDonald's.
Yeah. You
Get
know what
out
I
of
mean?
here, Don.
Give me the steak dinner. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you
give me some lobster, bro?
Yeah. I can have buffalo chicken dip on the Super Bowl. But
Nah.
anyways, here we go. So we are on
What we got?
Our Thanksgiving sides power rankings.
All right, this I gotta see.
All right, here we go. Here's the sides power rankings. We're gonna come up here with number 5.
Number 5.
And that is, it might surprise some people, it's butter. But I spelled butter wrong. And I wasn't even drinking before that. It's Butternut Squash. What an idiot. Who's the idiot that wrote these? Oh my goodness.
Blame our producer.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
here
we
go.
don't have
that
one.
It's me. Damn you, man! What the hell am I doing?
I will massacre you.
Yeah, I know.
What
Yeah,
the
it's just,
hell is that?
I know, but
Anyway, we get the point. We get the
Butternut
point.
Squash. So
We get-
Butternut
we get the
Squash.
point.
I'm coming in here at number 5 here. Butternut Squash. All
Number
right,
5.
so
I
yeah.
like some butternut squash.
Yeah, I know. It
Good-
can be
good stuff.
mixed around with a lot of different dishes and stuff. But butternut squash, it's a part
Okay.
of tradition here.
All
so
right.
here we go. Coming in number 4, we have the dinner rolls. Now, people have called them biscuits.
Dinner
people
rolls,
even
really?
serve
Yeah.
certain bread. But I think the dinner rolls are one of the complements to the other sides that are there. You
know,
can dip them. You
it's
can
al-
eat them by themselves. You
Right.
can butter them and eat them.
You know what? Dinner rolls are like a staple. It's almost like a must-have on Thanksgiving. I don't care if you're doing something different than turkey. You still got to have dinner rolls.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's got to be in the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I brought it up to somebody else today, and they're absolutely all about the dinner rolls. And
Oh,
the thing
you
is,
know I'm
Yeah,
sorry
go ahead,
to interrupt you.
Jump in.
But you know the like the Pillsbury what are those flaky rolls that they have? Like they look like they're like a little spiral type deal or whatever. Those are amazing. Those are great to have with your dinner.
Well, that's what I mean, because even dinner rolls, like, I like it all. That's what I mean. You can give
Yeah.
me biscuits. I know my mother-in-law does like these honey, like Hawaiian rolls or whatever, and then really like toast them and butter them up really nice.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really greasy and delicious. But then the croissants, like you said, like the flakiness. It's just delicious.
So good.
And I realized making this list, I left another one that's probably an honorable mention.
I'm getting
I'll say it
hungry
later
right
on
now.
that it's probably good here, but there's controversy. There's
Oh, boy.
ultimately controversy about
Jim.
all of these here.
Jim, what do you got now?
All right.
What do you got
all
at
right,
3?
Here we go. All right. So at number 3, it's going to probably piss people off here. Here we go. But number 3, I've got green bean casserole. All right.
You know what? I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
I love me some green bean casserole.
You know what's funny? Is my whole life in my younger years before I met my wife, I never had green bean casserole for Thanksgiving.
And now you're in love with it.
I love it. It's great.
Yes.
It's delicious. I like the idea. I'm not a casserole guy. like warm tuna, like tuna casserole, should never be done.
No!
I think that is
Don't
a
say
bad
that.
idea.
I love that.
I think warm tuna and cheese.
Oh, come on.
That is a bad idea.
That sounds like coming from a person that just doesn't like that style of food.
Yeah.
It's
I
fine.
don't know. I think
I
you're
love it.
Flirting with
I love it.
disaster.
Nah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
What you started.
No, you will not finish.
Oh no, that is good. I love that shit.
No, yeah, but I don't know the warmness with the cheese,
Oh,
especially if
it's
you've
so
been
good.
drinking on
Maybe you
Thanksgiving.
just haven't had the right
I
person
don't-
make it.
Maybe
that's what it is.
Maybe. I mean, you're really floating around disaster there. But
Well, I'm
anyways,
just
I got
telling
green
you.
bean casserole here.
My mom has made that when I was a little kid. That used to be my favorite thing growing up. Still one of my favorites. I love it. I don't ever have it really, but I do love me some tuna
All right,
noodle
this
casserole.
one was tough because I
We got
went
a 2.
against my own choices, what I would do. But
Okay.
I've taken, people in consideration.
Okay.
And what they say, and I'm going with the sweet potato casserole. All right.
Wait, we got 2 casseroles?
We got 2 casseroles up there, I guess. I guess people like casseroles here on Thanksgiving.
Wait a second. No, come on now.
I know.
Come on now. Sweet potatoes.
There you go. Look at this.
If you wanted to say just sweet potatoes, I'm down.
Yeah.
I like sweet potatoes, but you got to throw the casserole thing on the end when you already got green bean casserole. Like, I don't know about that.
But It's maybe a debate between the casseroles. Which
Well,
you're
this is
taking.
what-
For me, I'm taking the green bean casserole. I
I'm
can't
tak-
do the sweet potato.
Okay, so here's the thing too. With so far we got 2, 3, 4, and 5, right?
Right.
So sweet potatoes, I freaking love sweet potatoes.
I don't
Green bean
get the sweet
casserole.
potato.
I like the green bean casserole.
Uh-huh.
Dinner rolls is a must. It has to be in the top 5 no matter where you rate them.
Right.
Butternut squash, that's kind of like you could, if you wanted to, you could leave them outside the top 5. You
I
could.
probably should have because I thought of another
Because
one that probably
here's
should
the
have
other
bumped in
thing, is where's the cranberry sauce?
I know. That's the one thing I had
You
forgotten.
gotta have freaking cranberry sauce in this top 5, man. If you don't
know.
have turkey involved in this, cranberry sauce has to fall somewhere in the top 5.
And that's
If it
probably
doesn't have,
weird.
if you don't freaking have cranberry sauce in this, we're gonna have problems.
It might be, but we've got April, May, June in the house with us tonight.
Oh!
And she says hot tuna is bad.
Stop,
So there you
April.
go. Just-
Stop. You guys set this up.
Yeah, yeah.
You
it's-
guys, you called
Yeah.
called April, and you told her to hop on the show to just talk bad about the top
I
tuna.
like you. You have balls. I like balls.
There you
Well,
go.
I don't
like
like
you.
balls, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But
well,
anyway,
hot tuna bad. See, that's
No.
what I mean. It's a bad situation.
No,
especially if you've
disagree.
been drinking a lot on Thanksgiving.
disagree.
But I hear what you're saying. I think I screwed up this list a little bit here too.
What do
but
you got
know
number
It's
one
the
then?
power rankings.
What do you
I
got
still
at
have
number one?
I don't know.
Number one, like best
Number-
thing to
number
have
one.
for sides.
It could be. I'm gonna probably piss people off, which
Oh, my
is
God.
in what I do.
You better
That
have-
if people that know me.
You better
this
have
is
the
what I'm good
cranberry.
at. Ask Liz Davila. Right?
Have it.
She knows.
Better
All right,
be
there you
there.
go. Number one is mashed potatoes and gravy.
Oh, come on,
There you go.
man.
There you go. There's my
You
power
got-
rankings.
You got sweet potato casserole. You got mashed potatoes. You got green bean casserole. You got dinner rolls is a must. Like, I don't care where you rate them, but they got to be in there.
Yeah.
Butternut squash isn't necessarily a must. Like, don't get me wrong, I love butternut squash, but you could technically leave that off the top 5.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Cranberry
I screwed up on the butternut squash. I'd say that there.
Listen, cranberry sauce has to be on here.
Okay.
It has to be. It's a must.
It's tough to narrow it down to 5. All right, you could probably do 10, but
All right, listen. Let me.
I know what you're saying,
Let
the
me
cranberry sauce,
negotiate.
though.
Let
Yeah,
me
no, that's fine.
negotiate
Yeah,
with you a
whatever.
little bit here. Let me negotiate. All right. So, would you consider leaving off butternut squash and having cranberry sauce?
absolutely, I would absolutely do that, and I would probably. Yeah, this is what I mean. There we go. See, we've got it right here.
The bomb is dropped. The bomb is
there
dropped.
it is. The bomb is dropped right there.
Stuffing.
See, there we go.
April,
Stuffing.
thank you so
in the
much for
house.
that. You gotta have stuffing, bro.
I know.
You gotta have the stuffing in
It's
there. So,
tough.
okay,
It
listen.
is
Okay,
tough.
okay,
I
okay.
know.
Right now, on the spot, we've already agreed
Okay.
to drop butternut squash out.
Yes,
We'll put cranberry sauce in at 5 right now.
I would do that.
And then-
Possibly.
But listen,
I would
you
put
gotta have
stuffing
it.
over the butternut squash
But
right there. Number
now
5.
you got stuffing.
Yeah.
So now what are you taking out? You got to take out something.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I don't find it disturbing at all. You got to have stuffing in there, bro.
Well, all right. Well, fine. I mean, I was looking out for others, but maybe I guess, me being too considerate of what other people might like, too, and what recipes maybe have been searched the most on Google, maybe I should listen to other people.
You got to take the sweet potato casserole out.
Yeah, let's look back at it again.
You got to take sweet potato.
People love that shit.
Oh, I
can't
love it.
stand it, but
No,
they
no.
love it.
I do love it, but you know what? I would sacrifice the sweet potato to have the mashed potatoes and gravy with the stuffing, with the cranberry sauce, with the green bean casserole and the dinner rolls. That sounds to me
You know
like
what?
a
I
home run.
probably should have took dinner rolls off, even though they're there
You
as a
gotta have 'em.
staple. And then butternut squash, and then put stuffing, and then cranberry sauce.
You got to have
Because
dinner rolls, bro.
traditionally, I guess, if you look at it, if you go,
gotta have
you
dinner
can get
rolls.
with those sandwiches. You get the Thanksgiving sandwich. You get the oven
got
roasted turkey. You get
You
with
gotta have
with
dinner
the
rolls, bro.
cranberry sauce on it and stuff.
April says, "Shake my
I
head."
know she does. She's probably disappointed
You gotta-
with me
you
right
gotta
now.
have the
that
dinner rolls,
everybody's
man.
losing their mind right now. Yeah, I know, and people are just
April, just don't say the T word.
What's the T word?
You know, Thanksgiving.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
There you go.
I knew what I was walking into, but whatever.
But, okay. I thought of butternut squash because, again, people talk about yams and butternut squash. You see the gourds and things like that are involved with Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Dinner rolls, they mix well with the mashed potatoes. They're like
Gotta
a little
have 'em.
side piece to it.
Gotta have
I
'em.
enjoy stuffing. There are some people that die hard hate stuffing.
Yeah, I know. I do
and
know
they got
that.
a problem with calling it stuffing or dressing. So there's debates
gotta
there.
call it
So I think
stuffing.
altogether it's debatable. So I think I tried to avoid the debate.
I'm not debating it at all. It's
as
stuffing.
far
it ain't
as
dressing.
cranberry sauce
It ain't,
goes.
It ain't something you pour on your food.
All right.
It ain't dressing.
All right. Well, as far as cranberry sauce goes, I've had the stuff in the can. I kind of pretty much lived on the stuff in the can.
Okay.
And I thought it was just okay. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only until I was opened up to the homemade, again, where you can home make it, and people were searching even for recipes to make cranberry sauce on its own,
right?
To where another door was opened for me, and I was like, "Ooh, cranberry sauce," you know. And
Right.
this is amazing to
Okay.
me. And it probably should have cracked on my top 5 there, maybe right there at number 5. But again, some people, whether they like the canned stuff or the homemade, they have certain situations. My children love the canned. I love the homemade.
I don't care either way.
Maybe it's a preference. I don't know.
I don't care either way.
It's
I'll
okay,
eat
but
both.
it can be tart.
It
Way
doesn't
too,
matter.
Too tart. But
I'll eat
there
either
you
way.
go. There's my power rankings.
April, give a
Thanksgiving
thumbs up
sides.
if you think Jim deserves another drink.
Whatever. I mean, I did my best. I knew everybody was going to hate the power rankings. That's why I did them, and that's.
But
why
it was
we do
fun.
all together. It was.
We'll just say it was fun.
It was.
It really
fun.
was.
Definitely. We appreciate everybody with us. Yeah, the kids love it. Yay! All right. Yeah, they love it. See?
Yep, that's
So
good.
there you go. There's
Let's
our
move
power
on.
rankings for the Thanksgiving. So that moves us to our picks now, Joe. It's time for
Oh,
our
picks already.
The competition is getting tight.
Okay.
I happen to
What do you mean
text
getting tight? It's been tight all the
well,
season.
Well, unfortunately, I texted you and changed two picks, and now I have only a 1-game lead on you. I should have had 3, but I'm at
Listen,
1.
I will
It's close.
have to put a disclaimer in here. It should be tied.
Yeah.
Because I really did want to pick the Saints.
Well, why didn't you tell me, bro?
Because I was in the middle of playing my flag game.
You got to come up and change your mind before that, bro. You got to do it.
That's the thing.
Yo,
well, I didn't hear.
Send a freaking
but here's the
dove
thing
to me or something.
But
like
here's,
that. You know what I
but
mean?
here's the thing. That report of Taysom Hill being the starter kind of threw everything different.
Yeah.
It just changed everything.
You know what I'm hearing right now?
No mindset.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing right now. Here we
Doesn't
go.
matter.
All right, so here we go. We're moving to our picks. It's tight. I got a 1-game lead. We still have like 4 or 5 weeks left over, so there's a lot of time to go. So let's go to game 1, Joe.
What we got?
Houston Texans pull out a win last week. I thought they were doomed, and
Yeah,
they pull out a victory. But you know what's funny? It's sneaky about the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson has been playing very well this season.
Of course.
Without us really kind of noticing now. It seems like once the team went bad, the media just ignored him and stopped talking about him. You
Well,
notice
I
that?
mean-
You know a team that's supposed to be good, and then now they're kind of bad? They just avoided him.
I
right?
mean, when you look at the team, like, of course they're a worse team than before when they had Hopkins and all these players.
I mean, but why you got to dog the Jets every
But
week?
here's the thing.
You got to dog even the Browns, and they're not even a losing team.
But here's the thing.
But you got
is
the Texans sitting right
when
there.
you talk about Deshaun Watson, he's different. He's a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you have there at your disposal as a wide receiving core. He's going to get the ball to these players. This week, though, how many players is he going to be throwing to? That's another thing. Kenny Stills looks like he's going to miss the matchup. It looks like darn it, I'm going to forget his name.
Fuller?
Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb. Yeah,
Randall Cobb is
missing.
gonna.
Yep,
Randall Cobb's
that's
gonna
true.
miss the game as well. So that looks like Kiki QT is gonna be thrust into the starting lineup, along with Brandon Cooks. Exactly. So I don't know. I really do love Deshaun Watson. I think he's one of the premier quarterbacks in this league. And even though he's now on a, I guess, lesser talented overall roster, he's still making things happen for himself. So that's going to be interesting to see. They're facing Detroit Lions this week. Thanksgiving at 12:30 p.m.
This is going to be a freaking trash game.
Here's the thing: is you know what? This is what has always occurred to me. I don't know what the hell it is, but about Thanksgiving. Oh, you got to drink again.
You're just setting us up now.
Yeah, I am. You know
right,
it.
now that we killed the Jameson, we need more liquor up in here.
But anyway, about T-Day.
Yeah, T-Day.
Detroit always seems to rise above what the expectations are on things.
That reminds me of the Macho Man.
T-Day.
The cream always rises to the top.
Exactly.
I'm the cream. Yeah.
But anyway, so you got the Lions against the Texans. This is one of those things where it's like, for whatever reason, Lions seem to like get up for the T-Day game. You know what I mean? They seem to play much better.
I'm happy when I'm playing.
That's a good one. I love that one.
This is a good one.
I'm happy when I'm playing.
Yeah. They are.
The
Especially on
Texans, right?
Thanksgiving.
This game is tough for me because I expect Matt Stafford to ball out. I really do. But I just really don't trust the Detroit Lions defense, really. And they're going to be without the likes of Kenny Galladay,
That's what I was gonna say.
the likes of Darius Swift. He's not going to be available either. So because of those two losses, I am actually going to pick the Houston Texans.
Oh, there you go. There you go. See, I'm going to agree with you as well, too, because the same exact thing. When you try and base these teams when they're both struggling, Detroit, I thought they had a little more in the tank, at least to win last week, but apparently not.
For sure, yeah.
But Houston, again, just overall, even because they still have good players on their defense. They get banged up from time to time, and losing Randall Cobb is basically like, who cares? You know? So I think Houston will be because, again, their defense is still better than Detroit's defense.
Right.
Detroit's defense is putrid. And Matthew Stafford still seems like he's still on his own here without his wide receivers. We see what happens when he doesn't have them.
I mean, all he has is Marvin
weapons.
Jones.
Again, he's stuck again. This is another one of those guys who is stuck in the abyss of the Detroit Lions. Another guy who is probably close to a Hall of Famer again and gonna have a shitty team he's on. It's sucky. You know?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
The Detroit Lions.
He can only throw to the likes of Marvin Jones and T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what you got. So I'm going with the Houston Texans as well. Now we've got the Washington football team.
True.
Against the Dallas football team. No, not really. That game is going to suck.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's Thanksgiving. It's like this is maybe, you know, what everything that the NFL does. you know how they're trying to make changes and stuff like that. How about change the tradition of having the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions every year?
Yes.
Give me a break.
Please.
Nobody wants to see us all the time. Mix it up a little bit. I'm glad they added the Thursday or the late game.
Yeah.
Now we're not going to have it this week because of COVID. Again, ruins everything in our life right now. But Dallas, Detroit, why do we need to see these games? Because even it ends up being Detroit and Chicago, and they sucked for 10, 20 years too as well. Why don't we get some of these other marquee games that you want to see? You want to see your product highlighted on Thanksgiving Day. Look what the NBA does on a Christmas Day. They have the big teams. They have LeBron James out there. Boom, boom, Christmas Day. Why do we have to suffer and see the Detroit Lions? Why do we have to suffer and see the football team and the Cowboys, America's team, which pretty much, I guess, sums up America right now because we're sucking right now?
Yeah, the whole America's team theme is that's done with. The Cowboys are not America's team. Like, there's no such thing.
I feel like
as America's
that
team.
escalated quickly for me.
Yeah, I agree. And
But
now
it's
you're trying to get me
truthful.
fired up right now.
But it's truthful.
Because you know what? America's team is not the Cowboys. It's not. We have 32 teams in this
The fact
league.
that we have to watch this on Thanksgiving.
I understand.
I think they think we're
going
to fall asleep on the tryptophan, so then we're going to not watch the game. We're going to fall asleep halfway through.
I feel your pain, but you know what? Here's the thing about this game right now. Is you have Dallas Cowboys, who typically have one of the worst defenses right now. The Redskins have a good defense. And something that has happened recently since Alex Smith has been thrust into the lineup is now Washington actually has an offense.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put an offense with a good defense, that leads to wins.
Good news, everyone.
The Cowboys, on the other hand, they scraped away and they got a win last week. I think they were lucky on
The Red
that.
Rifle.
They were definitely lucky on that. But here's the thing is the Washington football team is coming to town. And Andy Dalton, you will be running for your life with this injury-laden offensive line that you call a Cowboys O-line.
Mm-hmm.
Washington defense is going to be balling out in this game. I really think Alex Smith is going to kind of light it up a little bit. They got Scary Terry in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's been throwing to a lot of different other receivers as well. And Antonio Gibson is emerging now in the running game with the Washington football team.
Yeah, you almost screwed up. You should drink for that.
I will. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. How about Thanksgiving? Oh, hey now.
Cheers. We're going to need another beer. Where's our waitress?
I think she left for the night.
Oh, yeah, she did, probably.
But anyway, I am taking the Washington football team.
Oh, my goodness.
I really believe in Alex Smith. I like this defense and how tough
What
they
you
are.
just
Chase
said
Young
is one of the most insanely
I'm sorry.
idiotic things I've
It's
ever
not
heard.
idiotic. I'm sorry. If you've paid attention the last couple of weeks with Washington, they have turned into a competitive team with Alex Smith at the helm as the offensive leader and
no
that
point
defense.
in your
Watch out
rambling, incoherent
for the
response
Cowboys now.
were you even
All they
close
have
to
is their
anything
offense.
that-
I'm ignoring their whole little sound bit because it doesn't make any sense. I'm going Washington football team. They're going to win this
considered a
game.
rational thought.
And it doesn't matter what you play.
Everyone in
It
this
doesn't
room
matter what you
is now
say.
dumber.
I am going to talk over this sound bite
Okay,
because
all right.
Washington
All right.
is a different team now that Alex Smith is the quarterback.
I think they have a great player there, game manager. Yes, Washington into Dallas. It's going to be tough. Yeah, the thing is, if Washington's pressure can get into Andy Dalton.
Oh,
which
they will.
Probably can.
They
because
will.
The offensive line is struggling.
They will.
But what Dallas did do last week, which I've kind of been asking for, is if Zeke Elliott, the man who tattooed "Feed Me" on my stomach, which is off-putting in its own right, get him to run. If you're this great, elite running back that we're paying you for, despite struggles on the offensive line, run. That's what we were paying you to do.
Mm-hmm.
You are supposed to be our star. You're the one we're paying you to do. We are supposed to be run first, then play action around you. That's what this team is supposed to be doing right now. And finally, they did it one week. Will they be able to muster up a few times and get a chance to do this? It's going to be tough. This one is a mind-boggling one and tough one for me because I hate both teams.
Well, of course you
I
do.
don't
You're a
want
Giants
either
fan.
team to win because I'm a Giants fan. I would like to still take the division.
So, wait, let me get this straight. You want it to
I
end
am
up
going
as
to
a
say
tie.
this is going to be a tie. Boom. That's right. I just said it. I am calling a tie.
You're calling a tie?
I'm calling a tie on this game.
So, if you call it a tie, there's no winner or loser then.
Right. So can I do that? Is that fair for the competition?
There's no winner or loser.
But if it's not a tie, so did I lose? Either way.
No.
Right?
It's just nothing. You're awarded no points.
That's true.
And may have God mercy on your
my
soul.
All right. In that case, then, to be safe, I think I'm going to go with Washington football team because I hate Dallas more. There you go. How about that? I can't hate a team that doesn't have a
But
name.
here's the thing.
They have no identity.
You are right. If they do end up in a tie, the Giants have a shot, man. They could. This is the craziest thing.
Okay.
Is that the Giants, as bad of a start that they've had, this division is terrible to the point where you only have to win a few games and you'll win the division.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be exciting? No, come on, seriously though. Wouldn't it be exciting for you as a Giants fan to at least make the playoffs? To at least have a chance.
I guess so. I would
It's
like to
any
see-
given
no.
Sunday, dude.
One thing I would want not to make the playoffs. I predicted this team to be 6-10. which looks like we're trending towards. So that would align with what I thought.
You got to remember,
if we can
you
be
don't have Barkley.
If we can be 7-9, yeah, that would be surprising. If we happen to take the division with that, so be it. If we make the playoffs, hey, it looks good for everybody's resume. Joe Judge looks good. We're going to have this regime around for another season. We're not going to hire and fire again and restart. And I think it's trending upwards. I think it's
you
a great
wouldn't have
start.
that anyway, though.
Well,
it's
look
his
what
first
happened
year.
with Pat Shurmur.
It's his first year.
They did it with Pat Shurmur.
They're not going to do that with him.
Maybe they watched our show and listened to me and said this was a bad idea, but they probably should have listened in the first place when they hired him. But altogether, I think above 6-10 is a win, especially like what you said, not having their star player.
Right.
I agree with that. But making the playoffs, yeah, I'm ecstatic then.
And I'm sorry.
And I don't expect them to go very far. But you know what I will say, though? They have been competitive in many games against tougher competition. Mm-hmm. They have been what the Giants have always been. April, May, June knows this. They play up to their competition. You see them falter against some of these lesser teams. They kind of play under, but they really step up for the tougher teams. They played Pittsburgh right up to the last bit that they could and barely lost in that game. It took an Andy Dalton miracle there to Michael Gallup, in Dallas there to take that victory. That's not going to happen even now because you know why? Too, they have Logan Ryan there. They have made the moves that they need to do. You have Logan Ryan on one side and Bradbury on the other, especially because they just activated Xavier McKinney. I don't know how familiar he is with the defensive playbook or not.
He's had plenty of time to learn it.
He's had plenty of time. So now physically active, how is he going to be able to perform physically?
I feel like he's been – I mean, here's the thing is like football shape and being in shape is two different things.
Right.
So he's not going to obviously be in football shape.
Right, but play safety, though, I think he could still do reps. So I think having him in there and getting the young rookie involved so then you can move Logan Ryan into that corner position.
He'll be in
even
great
though
shape.
Darnay Holmes has been playing well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if him at slot corner, I think is even better.
Yeah.
It's a real nice move. Or even flip-flop. Switch Logan Ryan in at slot corner here and there, which they have already done this season. I think is a great idea. And now we have a different element that we have on defense that we haven't been able to have. The running back position, luckily, Wayne Gallman has been doing well enough with the ball when he gets out there.
Hasn't fumbled that much.
Hasn't fumbled as much, absolutely. Even though we've had a rotating door of former running backs in there. You know what I mean? We Alfred Morris has been playing pretty well here and there when he's sprinkled here and there. But then again, Devonta Freeman joined the team, started to get a little acclimated, and then got injured, and now we're not seeing him. Don't know. Without Saquon, you're moving forward.
You know something?
It's a good movement for him. I think they're projecting forward.
Yes,
That's what I'd say
but you know something is which has been shown to me as I watch the Giants is that they never needed Devonta Freeman like I thought they would.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Devonta Freeman, I thought if he came in like to whatever team that needed him, right? So now he ends up with the Giants. He's not showing me the same things that I've seen in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. In Atlanta, I seen the guy who can break tackles, who can go for a little bit, some yardage here and there in the passing game and the rushing game, and sometimes break it out for big gains. I'm not seeing the same player right now. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not seeing the same player, but a guy like William Gallman, who's been kind of the Wayne Gallman, who's been kind of the laughing stock of the Giants' backfield. Not only has he curbed that fumble activity that he used to have, but also it seems like he's playing way better in the passing game and the rushing game, and is showing a little more than what Giants fans might have thought they saw early on. So that's promising. And if you have that going for you, now with the confidence going forward, you get Barkley back next year. You could have a nice two-headed combo. No, you don't have to rely on Dion
Lewis.
Lewis.
I thought he'd be more involved in the
offense.
offense.
Yes, I thought he would be more involved in the passing game, especially. Mm-hmm. And it seems like what it is Wayne Gallman has come in and has kind of made his position obsolete. Because he's like, hey, listen, I can catch out of the backfield. I can do those things.
Mm-hmm.
So he's proving it, and going forward, that's gonna pay huge dividends for him to team up with Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
And wow,
Make your dreams come true.
Wayne, you could do it, buddy. Keep going.
Absolutely.
Keep
we got a
working
little
hard.
off topic, but that's what happens sometimes when you've been drinking Jameson.
I know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
I'm empty, pretty much.
Oh, man. There we go. All right, so now moving on. We're going to skip this game for now because it's moved on to a later date. So let's go to the Vegas Raiders and the Atlanta Falcons.
So wait, we're not picking that game?
We will later on, just not right now. I don't feel like doing it right now because it's not on the holiday.
It's Sunday.
Do you want to pick it right now? We can pick it right now.
Pittsburgh.
All right. There you go. You pick Pittsburgh. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh as well.
There you go. See, we just had to get by it.
Yeah, because not only even before before the COVID hit with Baltimore, they seem to be trending downwards again. Everybody's figuring them out. They're complaining and arguing with each other, saying, "Oh, they know our plays already. People aren't changing it. It's the coach's problem. It's not me." Lamar trying to find his identity, saying, "I can pass still," much like what RG3 tried to do. Remember he was just a runner, and then he tried to stay in the pocket more. And they tried to.
No, they made him stay in the
they tried to develop more as a quarterback, and it just wasn't fitting right.
Because you can't do that to a player.
This is like OJ. They're trying to make his hand fit in the glove, and it's just not fitting.
Right, exactly. You
He's
got to
totally
let him.
innocent. OJ was innocent.
You have to let him be the player that you had originally.
Yes.
You can't force him to be something else.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. So, there you go.
The race war starts now.
It does.
All right, so the Vegas.
That's so bad.
Dude, I have a bunch of ones I probably should have. I wanted to put on here. I couldn't do it just because we might get in trouble. All right, here we go. The Vegas Raiders and the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons struggling. I thought they may have an opportunity because of the way the changes happened with some of the teams that are out there, and but they can't. You know what I mean? And Julio Jones still banged up. Todd Gurley is out for this week. So
wait, he's out.
Yeah,
this
he's
week?
out. That's what they're saying. Yeah, he's going to be out this week. He's not going to be playing.
I haven't heard anything.
And Julio
about
Jones is limited practice. That's what
I've
I
heard
heard.
Julio
That's
Jones
what I heard
limited.
today. That's what I heard today.
But I haven't heard anything about Todd.
So you know what? And Vegas is on a high. They should be able to win this one.
You know that doesn't
if
matter,
Vegas
right?
needs, but if Vegas needs to show that they are one of those contenders and they're there, they need to stay up in there because the AFC is going to have the highest or the toughest spots to get playoff spots in. Because the AFC is better than the NFC this season, hands down. So in order to get one of those 7 or 8 teams, you got to be able to play as hard as you can. And the Raiders need to show that they're not just, we can beat the Chiefs here and there and we play tough and that's all we're good for. I think the Raiders can beat the Atlanta Falcons straight up. So I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders here.
So you have the Vegas Raiders, and they're going up against a 3-7 Atlanta Falcons team. Neither team has a good defense. They have good players.
They're good players. Yeah.
Like the Atlanta Falcons,
right,
they got Grady Jarrett. They got they got I don't know. They got the linebacker there. I forgot his name.
Well, it happens,
But anyway,
Smoke weed every day.
Oh, hey now.
Maybe that's why you forgot.
Could be. Maybe.
But,
we'll see.
But
no.
But the Raiders
this
have
is-
Max Crosby. They have
This
some
to
players.
me, this to me is going to be about. It's going to be an offensive battle. Because I really don't believe that the Raiders defense is going to come out and ball out and stop Atlanta unless Matt Ryan does what he did last week. And that's just simply hold on to the football. Like, not make mistakes. No, he just
that's
held
the thing.
on to the football way too long.
Sit down.
So, I mean, given that and if the possibility of Julio Jones missing another week, and like you said, like Todd Gurley's due to not make this game, I still do like Brian Hill, though, as the backup running back. I still like him. I think he's a good player. But, yeah, I mean, I'm going to pick my Vegas Raiders on this one.
There you go. You got it. You got to do it.
Listen, they lost to the Chiefs. They got to be pissed off.
They should have beat the Chiefs.
I mean,
how about that play to Jason Witten on that
you
floppy ball,
score
too?
exactly. A minute 48 left. I'm not going to ever forget this. And you play prevent defense against the Chiefs. That's just you're begging to lose.
Let me bring this up quick. We're going to get off the whole thing because we're trying to do our picks here, though, too. But I got to bring this up. That fumble by Tom Brady in the end zone that they called still, after it was challenged, they still called it incomplete pass. Do you agree with that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see it.
Dude, that ball, all right, when it's going back and he
that
gets strapped, it comes down, it hits off of a player's leg and goes forward.
Here's
and
the
then
thing.
He throws his arm forward.
That-
he is not in a throwing motion at all.
That football was jarred loose before his hand went forward. So that should have been a fumble. It should have recovery.
And then they reviewed it and still incomplete pass. I'm like, they are trying their hardest to set Tom Brady up with this, and then he kills it single-handedly himself by throwing that bad throw. So I was just loving it. I was dying. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fact that they challenged it and they said, no, play still stands, I'm like, what the frig are you looking at? Because, again, if you're doing a forward pass, the ball needs to go forward.
It does.
It went backwards and off a player's leg to project it or bring it forward. Not a forward pass.
Yes.
But with Tom Brady,
what we got?
Anything happens.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Next game.
Los Angeles Chargers and the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be a tough game. Herbert got to be the rookie of the year so far. He's playing lights out, really great football. Really take a hold of this team.
For your fantasy footballers out there, if you were the lucky person,
fantasy this year.
I know that's why I had to bring it up. Yeah. And if you're the lucky ones that have added Justin Herbert, he's actually outplaying a bunch of quarterbacks. You got guys out there that have Lamar Jackson, who is seen as the diamond in the rough type of fantasy guy who is going to carry you to a championship. Guess what? It's not Lamar. It's Justin Herbert, baby. It's the rookie.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So we got the Chargers. They play hard, even though their record sucks too, but they've been in every game.
They're better than the
but
record.
Again, they get banged up here and there. Will we have Joey Bosa this week?
It seems like he should be back.
So we'll have two good defenses against each other. The Buffalo Bills, again, surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't pay attention to it, where they're still questioning Josh Allen. Stephon Diggs, top 5 wide receiver right now, especially in yardage. So he's up there. He's being up there, in the elite, and that's what he wanted to do. Why he left the Minnesota Vikings, he felt he wasn't getting enough catches, being part of the offense enough. It was Adam Thielen's team. I'm going to move on. I'm the star here in Buffalo. He's showing it that he can be, and they finally have a target that they can throw to, sprinkle in a little Cole Beasley here and there and some others. But the one thing is they got to focus on, and I think their coach said this about this, the running game. Need to get it straight. I see a little more Zach Moss this week, and I think fantasy owners, you want to talk about fantasy owners, maybe start Zach Moss a little bit here. You're going to get a surprise game here against the Chargers. And I'm going to pick Buffalo here at home.
I'm going to say don't start Zach Moss and don't start Devin Singletary. Because
don't start them at all.
Because
Forget
both of them. Because here's the thing. Both of them are splitting carries as it is. No. The only thing that you can hope for with either one of these guys is to score a touchdown in fantasy. And to me, that's a little bit too risky. You don't really know what guy's going to get the ball, when and where. For the Buffalo Bills going to get up against the Chargers, this is going to be a really good game. This is a game that, you want to tune into if you can.
This should have been on Thanksgiving.
This should have been on Thanksgiving.
I agree.
I agree.
I just said Thanksgiving. Do you have anything to drink?
And I did. I'm empty.
Oh, man. Oh, well, there you go. We'll have to get some more. I'll order some more.
I'm going to drink some air. Look at that. That's air.
I'll drink for you.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, I have the order the beer app right here. That's what I just do. I just text here, and it's the Uber of beers, and I just order a beer, and then it's just like, it just happens.
You
just
got
like
the
that.
Uber beer.
That's right. They just arrive.
All right. Sounds good. But
Go
anyway,
ahead,
so we got the Chargers and we got the Buffalo Bills, right?
Yes.
So Justin Herbert, I love this dude. Listen, a lot of people were kind of down on him being drafted as high as he was. They weren't really sure if he was the real deal, the answer for whatever team took him. On the other hand, I had him as one of the better quarterbacks to take. No matter where he ended up, what organization had taken him, I thought they were going to get a good player, a gem, And really, he's actually surpassing my expectations at this point as just a rookie. So Chargers got a good defense. They got Herbert. Buffalo's got a good defense. They got Josh Allen. This is going to be a battle. But I'm going to end up taking the home team in Buffalo Bills. I'm going to take the Bills. I think they got the weapons. I think they have the defense, just like the Chargers do. But I think since Herbert cut his hair, I think that's going to take a little bit away.
Yeah, that's sad, man. It really is.
I can't believe he shaved his hair off.
I don't know why he did that. I mean, going for a change. I don't know what it is. But all right, here we go. So we're moving on to the New York Giants. They're off a bye week. They changed their offensive line coach after a little spat and things like that.
I saw that.
Joe Judge.
I know.
Maybe a little fisticuffs going on there, but yeah, here we go. They move forward. A rejuvenated team. They've got some healthy guys now too. Jimenez comes back, but I don't think he's going to be kind of irrelevant because again, the way that Blake Martinez has been playing, like he's a borderline Pro Bowler right now. And
he's been balling out for
people
sure.
aren't paying attention. Kyler Fackrell has just been making key plays when it matters.
Right.
That's the thing, though, too. Like third downs, making plays when
good
it matters.
additions. I mean,
Absolutely.
I think Joe Judge and company, they've done a really good job.
Joe Burrow goes down from a horrifying injury last week. So that brings in Brandon Allen now? This goes to show you, too.
Does that strike fear in your heart? I just have to ask
No,
you.
this is what I mean. Now, like these are one of the teams, the games when I looked ahead of time, when I looked at their schedule, that we could kind of win this. I think it would be closer. This is now I'm not guaranteeing a win, but this looks better for the Giants right now without having Joe Burrow because the way Joe Burrow was playing, he was commanding that team, and they were putting up points when people doubted him altogether. And he took control of this team, and they were competitive. No matter how many games they lost. They have a bad record.
Yeah.
But they were competitive, and all because of him.
So, look at that.
Holy moly.
We have Nathaniel
McQuirk is in the house with us tonight. Nathaniel, it's been a long time,
Nathaniel,
buddy. Wow,
welcome back, brother.
Buddy, we are having a good time out here. We are doing holiday shots here.
Yeah.
Whenever you say the word of what holiday we're
don't
doing.
say it.
We do shots, but we ran out of liquor, so we're doing beer now.
We killed the bottle.
But we did a lot of stuff here, too. It's a pleasure joining us. We're doing picks right now. Let us know your picks out there. Absolutely, of what we're doing. Man, Nathaniel in the house. All right, it's good to see him. From Football World discussion group, I think we met him. So it's a great group to be part of, too. And John Turner out there, our buddy John, John Turner. He is a character.
Yes.
All right, here we go. So the Giants, Cincinnati. To make it short, I'm going with the Giants here.
Okay.
Again, hopefully Daniel Jones can limit mistakes here. I think I want to see more read option, read zone runs because they've got potential here in Daniel Jones and what they can do with the running game that they haven't really tapped a lot.
Right.
I think if they tap it more, make it more of their type of offense, teams got to kind of play to it, and that will open up the passing game even more. So he doesn't have to throw the ball into tight coverage and things like that. It would just open up the offense, open up the running game altogether, and the Giants will be better off as it goes.
Cincinnati Bengals, they're going to be without a couple of stars on their team. Joe Burrow is not going to be available for the rest of the year. Joe Mixon, the really great running back that they have in the backfield there, he's not going to be making this game as well. Which in turn, with Brandon Allen at the helm at quarterback, I don't have a whole hell of a lot of confidence, and I didn't have a ton of confidence when Joe Burrow was at the helm. Not to say that I don't like him, but listen, the Bengals have their future at quarterback, no doubt about it. Joe Burrow is the real deal. He's proven it. But you need to surround him with a better offensive line and a little bit more weapons because I don't feel like A.J. Green has it anymore.
No, he's shown it.
But the Giants are kind of like, especially defensively, I'll say, they're an up-and-coming team defensively. They seem to be playing a little bit better this year. Their offense at times has shown what they're capable of. Hopefully they can put it all together. I, as well, am going to pick the G-Men this week.
Yeah, as far as the Cincinnati Bengals, again, A.J. Green, again, showing that he's just basically on his way out, just serving his rest of his sentence there. And T. Higgins has been kind of their guy in a sense moving forward here for them. He is up and coming, looking to grow with Joe Burrow as they move forward. But without Joe, again, and Brandon Allen, nobody's afraid of that. And the way this Giants defense has been playing, I think it's set up for them.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's going to be a tight race here for the NFC.
Giovanni Bernard, the backup, he's more than capable of being a starter.
I hear you.
But he's no Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I agree. All right, now moving to the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. I talked about this game with a few people out there, know-it-alls that I talked to before, and a lot of debate about this game.
Oh,
again, because the
new?
first time they played, the Colts took the victory.
That's true.
But I recall that game, and it was just basically on a couple plays within 2 minutes on special teams. What Tennessee needs to do here is limit those mistakes there and not get a block punt, things like that. Tighten up on those little mistakes that you cannot make because they had the game locked up. Phillip Rivers has been into this mode to where I've noticed this because I've watched him play for a very long time. He is now hearing those echoes of I'm a turnover machine. I need to stop this. So what I do is almost like Lamar Jackson when you talked about it a little bit. I'm waiting until the guy gets open. Then I'll throw it to him. Then it's too late, though. So then you're getting a 2-yard gain and not maybe a 7-yard gain, which you would have got got the ball to him, and then got some yards after catch with it. Not happening so much with Phillip Rivers now. He's going for the safe bet, not driving the ball as far. They were able to pull out a win last time, too, but and then they barely took out the team they just played. But again, against the Tennessee Titans here, they barely squeaked against them. Tennessee fights back and gets the win back on them. They're going to split the wins here with them. I'm going with Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee, they're running the ball well. I mean, they can throw and attack you with A.J. Brown. Corey Davis, right?
There's a Corey Davis.
It's a contract year for Corey Davis, so maybe that's why all of a sudden he feels like playing, right?
That's what happens.
But Corey Davis is having a pretty good year. A.J. Brown attacking the defenses. Derrick Henry, I mean, just an absolute beast. A guy that big to be able to run that fast and have that kind of agility, oh, my God.
That's how you take down a motherfucker.
That's what he did to Josh Norman.
He does on occasion every week.
Exactly. Going up against the Indianapolis Colts, the Colts have a really good defense, and their offense is good as I thought it was going to be is not. It's just not that good. Phillip Rivers has been turning over the football, which I thought with a better offensive line, I really thought that would excel his game, and it seems to not make a difference with not as many weapons as I thought he would have at his disposal, even though he's got T.Y. and he's got the return of Michael there, the rookie. I just don't think they have enough. I know they got, they just don't have enough, simply. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans in this one. I have way more confidence in the Titans than I do the Colts, despite the defense that they have.
Well, it's funny. They've been able to sprinkle Michael Pittman Jr. here in there, and despite having Jonathan Taylor there, Naheem Hines has been a really very focal point for their running situation because of the problem and the injuries that they had with Marlon Mack. But I don't think Phil Rivers, as of late, has been really turning it over as much. But again, I think his hesitation has slowed the offense down, and the defense has been making plays for him to help him win. Would you agree with that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, but again, Tennessee, I think they found a groove here, getting it moving. And I think, again, they should have had ultimately that first game. They're going to come back here and take this one as well. Carolina with P.J. Walker, baby. Holy moly. What the hell happened there? Here we go. Quarterback that played with the XFL and is going to light it up his first game playing. It's P.J. Walker, I guess. Oh, is he going to say P.J. Walker? Holy smacks. What the hell happened there? What are the Lions doing? Yes, I know they didn't have their wide receivers and stuff, but I thought you would have been able to go and take a quarterback that was a star in the XFL, but, hasn't played in the NFL a long time. He used to play in the NFL. But you had your opportunity. He's not there. Teddy Bridgewater's not there. He's looking on the sidelines. You don't have Christian McCaffrey there. You have the opportunity to do something, and you can't. We have Nathaniel McWirt in the house. He says, here we go. He's giving
his picks. His game
picks right here. Here we go. He has the Texans, which we said here. Here we go, Texans. He's got the Cowboys, the Bills, the Colts, the Panthers, the Browns, the Giants, the Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Steelers, the Broncos in an upset, he says here, and the Rams, the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Seahawks. There you go. So there's Nathaniel McWhirt's picks right there. So let's see if that plays out too as well.
Yes, sir.
It could be. That's what I mean. I mean, we're not saying any of our picks are going to be right either. We've had a lot of surprises this year. So it could be anybody's game, especially when we thought the chips were down for certain teams like the Broncos. I mean, they're playing without Von Miller, and they're still, playing up to some of these teams here. Where we saw the Dolphins kind of looked like they were taking a step forward. They benched Tua, and then they put Ryan Fitzpatrick in to try and get him back in the game. And so now you're setting yourself up with this week. The media first question is going to be, well, who's starting this week? Is it going to be Tua? Is it going to be Ryan? And why are you making that switch? Do you not believe in Tua? What is it? Now you're setting yourself up for problems.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, why would you as a head coach all of a sudden be like, oh, you know what, we're going to bench Tua and bring back Ryan Fitzpatrick and throw him in the game and think that somehow, some way, Fitzpatrick is going to lead you to win that game. Listen, at the end of his drive, he threw a pick in the end zone. Like, Tua could have given you the same opportunity and possibly would have won you the game. You don't know that. I mean, but at the very least, you've already made the decision to move on from Ryan Fitzpatrick and give it to Tua because you feel comfortable that he knows the offense and he's executing it well. He's so far, I mean, he's done really well, and even in that game was playing well. Why on earth would you bench the guy? It makes no sense to me. He's your rookie. He's your future. Stick with him. See what happens at the end of that game. You never know. Maybe Tua brings you back and you end up winning. But now we'll never know if that was going to happen. So I think it's bad coaching on Brian Flores' part, and hopefully he learns a lesson from this, and going forward is just going to stick with Tua no matter what.
Absolutely. Here, let's get back to our picks now. Nathaniel brought his up here. We got Carolina and Minnesota. Minnesota is that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team. They are really tough to figure out.
I can't figure them out.
Carolina had the magic last week with P.J. Walker. I think when Nathaniel says the Panthers going to take it here, I think Minnesota can bounce back at home and get that that Cook magic going again. You know what I mean, try and get it moving here.
Yes,
alleviate some of the pressure off of the quarterback and just get back to business here, which they have to in this division, because even though the Packers are in the lead right now, they can still make it.
Yeah, I mean the Carolina Panthers, they got a very young team that is surprisingly good. They're surprisingly have come together. They're playing very well week to week, and unfortunately they still don't have CMC, Christian McCaffrey, but Mike Davis has been carrying the torch. He's been doing it well, but he's not CMC. So, and I was surprised. Don't get me wrong. I thought when P.J. Walker was announced as a starter, I thought for sure they were going to lose. I thought for sure that the defenses.
I changed my pick, and I failed for it.
I thought for sure the defenses were going to really kind of rattle him. I mean, being his first time as a starter in the NFL, I didn't think he was going to play as well as he did. Well, surprise, P.J. Walker kind of lit it up last week and proved all the doubters wrong. So going in this matchup, though, Minnesota Vikings, I know that they really need a win. This is a must-win game for them. They got to win this game. And as up and down as Minnesota has been, when I pick against them, it seems like their defense plays amazing and their offense flourishes. And Carolina, I don't know. They know each other so well, right? So I think Minnesota Vikings somehow, some way is going to find a way to win. They're going to utilize, obviously, Dalvin Cook. And with the emergence of Justin Jefferson as a rookie and Adam Thielen there and their tight ends, I think they're going to scrape away a win in this.
Yeah, they just have a few more weapons. They just got to they have to click and connect. All right, now the Arizona Cardinals, they've been one of the best teams and surprise teams, I think, of some of the NFL here. A lot of people didn't see them going far. I thought they would be second in the division. Right now, they're just about there. And the surprise for me is the Rams, the way they have produced. But here we go.
What, they
Kyler
figured out
Murray,
the formula?
Yeah, Kyler Murray here has got the weapons that he needed here. They've got a nice running game, too, as well. Even him. He is the leading rusher of all quarterbacks. But then again, now he has the leading wide receiver of all receivers here in DeAndre Hopkins. Getting that trade, it just solidified so much for this team. And the surprising thing for me for this team is having the injuries on defense and still being able to play well and be in games and play well on defense, even after missing key pieces that they had. But going into New England, I think Bill Belichick is going to do what they can against them here. It's going to be two kind of running quarterbacks against each other, a bit different because Kyler Murray can throw. And that's what I think is the big difference in this team. I think Kyler Murray is going to take the top off this defense, and Cam Newton doesn't have enough to get it done. Look at this guy. He's 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and is supposed to be, I'm a great starter. I'm a former MVP. I'm going to the Patriots. I'm going to make them great again, and show what I can do, and then maybe get a starting job somewhere. He's not looking very good. He's looking like he's looking worse than what we thought.
Right.
Before, when he was a starter, we thought he was just an average quarterback. Now he's looking a little less than that after those injuries. Can't get it done. I'm liking Arizona.
Yeah, you mentioned the Arizona defense and how much of an injury toll that they've taken. Chandler Jones, huge loss. He goes away. The Cardinals managed to call the Giants up and say, hey, we want to trade for Marcus Golden. Bring him back to the Cardinals. And they do so to kind of fill in that roster spot there. Marcus Golden, a pretty darn good player, an underrated player.
Absolutely.
They managed to get him into that defense, which has really helped. Isaiah Simmons, the rookie. I don't really quite understand why the Cardinals have been kind of like babying him.
They have been.
This whole season. Like, he hasn't been the starter right off the rip. He's just been rotating in. Now he's forced into the lineup and has been excelling. All expectations.
I'm happy when I'm playing.
Exactly, Isaiah. I appreciate you. But nonetheless, the Cardinals with their offense and how explosive it is and how many weapons they have, they have the ability to outscore people. And if their defense is banged up as it is and young as it is, they can find ways here and there to maybe stunt the New England offense. I really like Arizona in this one. I think flat out Arizona is going to try to just outscore New England.
Right.
And with the way New England's running their offense, which a lot of runs, whether it be with Cam, whether it be with the running backs, in the short passing game, I just think that it's not going to be enough. I think Arizona is more explosive. They're going to score quickly and more often. I like Arizona.
All right, here we go. Now we've got the Jets and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins suffered a loss there too, but again, they played a tough opponent. The Jets, they've put some points up against the Patriots. Seems like that, and played well. They've been in games, but again, when it ultimately comes down to it, they falter and just can't get it done. And I'd say they're stronger on the defensive side. You've seen Greg Williams, their defense really clicking and making connections. But again, when the game's on the line and things like that, they just make too many mistakes to where the offense can't get them back into the game. I like Miami to bounce back, whether it be Tua, whether it be Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think Miami gets the win here, and the Jets are still going to be over.
It's going to be Tua, by the way. He's already been announced a starter.
There you go.
They're sticking
Until
with Tua.
halftime.
No, he's got to be the guy. Listen, Brian, let me give you some coaching advice. You can't. This isn't college where you can just kind of like halftime. I'm going to change quarterbacks and all that. You got to, now that you have the rookie in there, stick with him throughout the whole season. He's going to surprise you. Miami Dolphins going up against the Jets. The Jets winless still. Will they find a win this week? It's possible. I will give them a little bit of faith. It is possible. With Flacco as the quarterback and with all the receiving threats now in place, they do have a shot. But I do believe that Miami's defense is too strong for them to overcome. I think their secondary is amazing with Byron Jones at one side as a corner and Xavier Howard as the other. That alone is like two shutdown corners. They're pretty darn good. And a lot of young, untapped talent in this front for the Dolphins. With Tua as a quarterback, with his weapons that are available to him, I think that Miami is going to win this game no matter what.
There you go. And the Jets remain winless again. The Cleveland Browns against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Browns automatically. I'm not going to get a whole lot into this. I mean, yes, they have suffered losses where they don't have Myles Garrett.
Is it Mike Glennon?
It's
Is
Mike
that
Glennon. Yeah, it could be.
That's
Just because
definitely
of
a part.
Doug. You know what? Yeah, everybody wants to talk about people that are on the hot seat. When is Doug Marrone finally going to get his due? Okay? I mean, yes, the team has dealt with whatever they had to deal with, but why did teams want to leave all the time? You've already said it was Tom Coughlin. All right, he left. This team is still bad. This team keeps switching. I mean, yes, there was injuries here and there, but he did it before when they had Chad Henne and they had Blake Bortles changing quarterbacks from here and there and blah, blah, blah. I think Doug Marrone's got to go. I think he's just got to go.
I think
this team has they're on the up and coming. They could be better than what they are, but I think they got to move on from Doug Marrone.
They could be better, but that sentiment has been shared by a lot of Jaguars fans, a lot of people that are in the know, pun intended.
Boom.
So, yeah, I do believe Doug Marrone. I think he's worn out his time in Jacksonville. I do believe that he should be fired. They should move on and get a new regime in place.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
Yeah. I knew that sound bit was coming
right.
up somehow.
One of those.
But nonetheless, I mean,
You're
I
ugly,
share
you're
the same.
disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
I share the same opinion as you do.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he is still there. What I'm a little puzzled about is that after a couple of weeks of Jake Luton playing pretty darn well with Minshew's absence, I thought that he would get another start. But in turn, they're like, oh, no, I want to see what Mike Glennon can do. Doug,
Even Minshew didn't
Doug, come here.
look very bad.
Doug, let me share something with you. Mike Glennon has been on how many teams? He's been on Tampa. He's been with the Raiders.
He's done the world tour.
All as a backup. He's not good enough to be the starter. Sure, he's been showing some flashes. But what quarterback hasn't? The guy doesn't have what it takes to be the starter. Why are you giving him it this week? You should have stuck with the rookie, Jake Luton, who has shown some real serious promise. And we talked about it, what was it, last week or the week before, about Jake Luton possibly unseating Gardner Minshew, and not having to pay him big money. So, yeah, I don't know what they're doing in Jacksonville. And Doug Marrone is doing a lot of wrong things. So,
retard alert.
Exactly. Because of that uncertainty with that organization and the Cleveland Browns, yes, I do understand that they're up and down all the time, but I too am going to go with the Browns.
All right,
I just think that the Browns with that running game. I mean, come on, with Nick Chubb, with Kareem Hunt in the backfield, anything's possible.
That's the thing, and that's the thing with this team. You don't have Odell Beckham Jr. there. You have these other weapons here. You can run when you want. This team is built that they can be like the Patriots kind of were, play you to what you are. I mean, if we can beat you in the running game, we're going to beat you that way.
And
if we
just
can do it in the passing
Jarvis
game, we'll beat you
Landry.
that way.
Jarvis Landry, that's all you need. Jarvis Landry in a running game. You're fine.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Now, the New Orleans Saints now going to Denver. Nathaniel calls the Denver Broncos here on the upset. Who knows? Again, maybe, like I said, now that there's game film here, maybe they study what happened with Atlanta. You can see what they did here with Taysom Hill. I did notice with Taysom Hill, some of the plays, when they did break down, the passes weren't there, he would take off running and make plays out of those, that were passes, turn them into runs.
Right.
That's probably going to be stopped a little bit here. So I think this is going to be a tighter game than what they had with Atlanta. But even in the beginning of that game, Atlanta was showing them that they were kind of legit, and they were leading that game for a bit. New Orleans turned the corner and moved forward. It's going to be a tough game. I know the way the quarterback plays, he does not like to lose. He puts everything into it as well. But I think overall, New Orleans, they're healthier, better organization. I'm going to stick with New Orleans here to take it against Denver.
I could see why he would think that possibly the Broncos could upset him because here's the thing too. It's mile high. It's different. It's a different air to breathe. Yeah, the Saints might come in. Listen, they're a Southern team.
Often disappointing.
They're a Southern team that is used to warm weather. that is not used to gasping for air when it's thinner. And Denver's cold. So I wonder if that's going to affect them. I don't know what the weather is going to be game time. But all in all, I think overall, I mean, they do have a better team. And Denver seems to, kind of on offense, Denver seems to kind of misplace themselves. And they're not really, they don't have, I don't want to say they don't have an identity, but it seems like Drew Lock tries to do too much at times. And because of that, with this Saints defense and with Taysom Hill and his ability to run, I just feel like the Saints are going to end up winning this game.
I agree. Here now, San Francisco 49ers, you want to talk about a team that has been suffering injuries. I mean, this guy,
oh my God.
This team that nobody even talks about him anymore. They just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. It's like the earth was flat and these guys fell off the edge. There you go. They're gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. It's just from first to worst. And now they get to face the opponent that's in their division that now has first and is on a roll right now. These guys are playing together. This was the first time this franchise had 2 wide receivers with over 10 receptions and over 100 yards together in one game. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, they're getting it done no matter who's back there in the backfield running the ball. But Jared Goff is making the plays, even though he threw 2 picks last week. They're kind of debatable here, but San Francisco, they're just too banged up. I think the Rams here at home, I think just have a better opportunity, and I think they're going to take the victory.
Yeah, San Francisco, I feel bad for them because on such a promising
they should have never played in MetLife Stadium, I guess,
Such a promising season. They just can't seem to stay healthy. Nick Bosa gone for the year. That's a huge blow to that defensive line. And Eric Armstead has been activated, everybody. He is coming back this week.
Hallelujah.
So that's a huge game for the San Francisco 49ers. Also something to watch for. I don't really have confirmation yet, but Ryan Mostert, their starting running back,
Raheem Mostert
looks like he can make a return this week if everything goes well medically. So that's another big gain for this team. Deebo Samuel also in the lane of possibly returning. Brandon Ayuk, another guy.
Did you hear that the Giants were in talks of trades of trying to get Deebo Samuel? Did you hear that? I heard that a little bit. They had tried,
but it's not going to happen.
No, it definitely didn't. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But back when it was. Yeah, trade.
I don't think. Listen, they would have had to offer up more than I feel they would have been comfortable with, because anytime a team is trying to trade away a young talent like that, even though he's injured or what have you, usually the team that has him is going to require more compensation than you want. But anyway, Niners, their defense might get a little healthier with Eric Armstead obviously coming back. Also, their offense is getting a couple pieces, maybe 2, maybe 3 pieces. So that's going to bode well for them. But they still don't have that cornerstone in like George Kittle at tight end. He's not going to be there. So they do have Jordan Reed. Don't get me wrong. Let's see if he stays healthy through this game. But the Rams, they've been red hot right now. Their defense has been playing lights out. Their offense, to the surprise of many, Jared Goff has been playing solid and consistent. And that's really all the Rams could ask for. So with their weapons, with the defense, and how well this team is playing, I, too, am going to go with the LA Rams.
Right. When you look at next-gen stats, Aaron Donald getting to the quarterback 2.85 seconds to get to the quarterback. That's what he's averaging right now, next-gen stats. So just think of that. That's usually the time that they want to try and get quarterbacks to get rid of the ball that fast. Doesn't always happen that way. And that's why you're seeing some of these teams falter to him, just like Tom Brady.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go. Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here we go. Again, 2 teams that people think are these great elite teams. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be nuts because, again, everybody's going to paint the picture. It's Mahomes versus Brady.
But it's not.
Tampa Bay, I think, has a better defense as Kansas City.
For sure.
And they both can run. So this is going to be a tough. Just at this point, though, unfortunately, I believe in Patrick Mahomes' arm now more than I believe in Tom Brady's arm. Where I was kind of questionable then last couple of years I was questionable because what we saw with Patrick Mahomes, everybody wanted to crown him right away too. You saw the mistakes. You saw it in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, he's always trying to win, but he will force a ball where it shouldn't be as well too because he believes in himself. And sometimes that confidence can be just as bad for yourself too and throw yourself into some bad interceptions and plays where it shouldn't be. But this year he's looking better. Again, a team that's played together, solidified, is going to work better this year. Tom Brady with a new system, getting used to guys, still even trying to move in guys that he's familiar with. So that kind of shows you I'm not in sync with these guys. Give me Antonio Brown. Give me Rob Gronkowski. I know these guys. They believe in me. I believe in them. Kind of seems like they're grasping for straws here, even though they have all that talent. I'm going to go with Kansas City Chiefs here against Tampa Bay.
I mean, for Patrick Mahomes to be compared to Tom Brady, at this point in his juncture, it's not even close.
And they're on opposite sides now.
I mean, Mahomes is like
they've
in his prime,
switched
killing it, strong arm, accurate, and he's just doing a fantastic job with the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid's offense. Kansas City, they have the offense. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got the defense. More than likely, the defense beats a good offense. This is going to be a true test for Tampa's defense and Kansas City's offense in this game. And that's where I think the game is going to be decided, ultimately. I do think Tampa Bay's offense matches up better against Kansas City's defense. And in turn, I am going to go with Tampa, actually.
All right.
I just feel that, listen, we've seen how Kansas City is vulnerable. Their defense is not a stout or great defense. They rely on Kansas City's offense to put up points. As long as Kansas City is able to put up points, then usually their defense thrives off of that, where they can just pin their ears back and just attack. In this game, I feel like it's going to be closer. I feel like Tampa Bay is going to stay in the hunt. And at the end, I feel like Tampa Bay is going to end up winning this game.
All right, there we go. That's one of the ones that we have different for once this week. There we go. Chicago.
And more likely it's because I picked a lot of away teams.
There you go. Yeah, right, just to switch it up. Yeah, I know, because that always is the killer. All right, here we go. Now, the Chicago Bears going into Green Bay. Bears, what we're hearing right now, it's probably going to be Trubisky because he did practice. Nick Foles did not practice with that hip injury that he had. Trubisky suffering from the shoulder injury.
Yeah, Foles is definitely out, no doubt.
I mean, it looks like he's going to go in. He had a wicked winning record with him so far this year, but altogether, again, with some of the injuries that they've had here too, at the running back situation and the way this team is being managed now, putting the hands and laser now for the offense didn't look much better. I didn't really like them a lot. Even with that whole game that they managed the last time.
Yeah.
Very predictable.
Yeah, I agree.
Not a whole lot. I don't like the plays when it's third and like 7, and then you do all streaks. When you know the pressure is coming, not a good decision. You got to give it somebody underneath so you can have somebody.
You got to have an outlet.
So I think this is a setup for disaster. Green Bay at home.
This could be interesting because unlike Foles, Mitch Trubisky is pretty mobile. So that element could change some things in this game. It could definitely make it a lot closer. This could also be decided by a field goal. Mason Crosby, I hope your foot is warm and you're ready to go because Green Bay is going to need you in this one. And the Packers, I do like their offense, but sometimes their defense kind of lets some scores sneak through. But I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers because he's more dependable, I feel, than any Chicago quarterback.
He's more dependable than Mitch Trubisky.
And Devontae Adams, I don't care how good your defense is. Devontae Adams is going to find a way to get open. You have Alan Lazard back as of last week. And Aaron Jones, my God. Guy is one of the best running backs in football, and don't you dare argue with me.
And the one thing about the last game that the Packers played, they played a tough defense in the Colts defense that shut them down for the second half. That's the one thing about their coach that I don't like. It doesn't seem he can make quick adjustments to get things moving. But Valdez Scantling, if he doesn't fumble there, it's a whole different game.
Oh, absolutely.
Again.
Oh, yeah.
Packers should have probably won that game again.
Yep.
Colts squeak out another one, and that's why I think they lose to Tennessee, and I think the Green Bay Packers pull off this one here.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go. Now we got the Seattle Seahawks finally for Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz going to be running around with a chicken with his head cut off again, trying to make plays on his own, sweating his balls off. It just seems like he's sweating like tons of water. That guy must drink a lot of water every time because he's just dying out there. Seems like he's like on his own on an island. And I've said this to Joe. I think I've said this to a bunch of other know-it-alls I've talked to, that people don't take into consideration, I think, sometimes. When you get banged up enough, when your offensive line is bad and you get pressure, there are those ghosts that happen. You get pressured, you got guys around you, you feel them. You feel them, and then it kind of shakes you. And I think that's what happens with him. He feels the ghosts around him, even though they're not that close, and he takes off running. It feels like he needs to make a play, and it ends up being a bad one. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. They have faltered at times here, and now people are getting a few more hands on Russell Wilson because of the way that defense even has been able to not be productive. But I think Seattle, this is a great team to play here and bounce back. Philadelphia, they're struggling. They're starting to point fingers at each other. That's always a bad situation. So I like the Seattle Seahawks.
I mean, quite simply, it's just like Philadelphia is too banged up right now. Carson Wentz is making a lot of bad decisions. I mean, yeah, of course he's going to feel pressure, but he just flat out makes a bad decision. It's not like, he feels the pressure, so he's going to just take off running. He's just making bad decisions throwing. It's not even close. Like, yeah, he takes off and runs once in a while. I feel like he's not running as much as he has in the past, but he's still making critically bad decisions in the throwing game. And because of that, with Seattle's actually what was once seen as a poor defense or not as good as people anticipated, especially us early in the season. They had no real D-line, no real pass rush. They had a lot of unnamed guys except for Jerron Reed. Now they go ahead and they get in trade Carlos Dunlap, and it seems like all of a sudden they're starting to create pressure. They're utilizing Jamal Adams in the box to create pressure. And in turn, they're getting turnovers. They're getting sacks. They're creating turnovers. They're doing a lot on that defense. And when you put a Seattle D along with Russell Wilson in his offense with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, good night. So I feel like the Seattle Seahawks are going to put Eagles to bed pretty early.
There you go.
In the evening.
There you go, and that's it. That's our picks. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. I know we got the holiday coming up. We're excited to see some football tomorrow and have the day off. I know Joe has to work for a little bit, but then after that, he gets to celebrate. There's our picks right now, where we're at. I'm leading by one game. We have one game different here, so we'll go up 2 or we'll tie it up again. It's been really close this year.
I'm probably going to go down by 2.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. It's going to be really close and nice this year. Hopefully, I can pull out a win again and be 3-0. And you will be drinking over there on the side again, but maybe I'll be partaking in drinks. We'll see.
Yeah, I didn't want to let you know this, but I do it on purpose.
Nice, excellent. Yes, I know because you love the alcohol.
I need you to run the show.
No, I can do it without it. I did well tonight, and I drank some drinks. We did it.
Yeah, but we didn't really. I mean, we didn't get hammered, though.
I did a power rankings of Thanksgiving sides. And I failed miserably.
Yeah.
I got in trouble, and I didn't put cranberry sauce on there or stuffing, and people were very hurtful. But I can accept that.
You'll come back from it.
That's fine.
Stronger, better,
and
quicker,
I hope you
faster.
guys can accept us. We really appreciate you guys joining us tonight, watching the show, liking the videos, sharing, commenting. Nathaniel McWhort, it's been a long time, but it's a pleasure to see you. Join us tonight.
Thank you, sir.
We love you guys out there. April, May, June. Cynthia Blair down in Florida.
Yeah.
Checking in with us tonight.
What's up?
Speaking of Florida, Mike Tackett, our boy in Ocala. Originally an Ohio guy. Here with us tonight again. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you,
You guys
Noel,
enjoy
so much.
your day off. I don't know if you guys get 2 days off or not, but enjoy Thanksgiving. We're going to do a shot after this. Enjoy your Thanksgiving and forget about the world for now. Join in with your family. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy some football. have a good time, and we will see you
real
guys
quick.
next week.
Don't say it yet.
What's up?
Don't say it
What
yet.
do you got?
Real quick. I want to thank all the Noodles, obviously, out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really do enjoy your support, all your feedback, all your comments. Like, share, post your comments, everything. Follow us on YouTube or Facebook. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Football on the No Show. Hit the notification bell for all the latest
We
and
get
greatest
away
updated
with a
content.
lot more stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. And on Facebook, become a know-it-all. Also, on Twitter. I'm going to say again, feel free to follow us at FB_no. And want to thank all the men and women that have served and have retired and all that. Thank you guys so much for being great citizens, for standing up for our country, for allowing us to do what we love to do as well. I mean, we love to talk about football, but thank you guys. You guys are the real, true heroes out there that allow us American citizens to do what we love.
There you go. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Nathaniel has the week off.